Hi guys. Hello. Hello and welcome. Once more we go into the fray of live narrations. Hello and welcome. For those of you who have never tuned in here, I am your host, the one, the only, Wuten. And today we will be doing live narrations of stories. Some of them that I've picked out, but mostly it is all for you. It's the stories that you guys pick, and we will be, going through them one by one. I'm gonna do some real fast, just announcements here on like social media and shit like that. And we will get right into it. Pinging all 600 members of the Discord there, as one is wont to do. Hello. How is everyone tonight? I hope all of you are doing well. All right, let's see here. Salvi. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say, but hello, Benjamin Bear's Paw. well, shit, I was going to play Deltarune. Well, I mean, you can still play Deltarune. I don't think it's voice acted or anything, right? So you can like play it with me on, second monitor. I'm fine with being second monitor material. This is more of a listening stream than a watching stream, but we'll it is what it is. So, on the docket today, we have, let's see here. I have 5 stories lined up as our stories for tonight. If you are wanting to add your story into the shuffle of stories in between the stories that I've got prepared, you can go ahead, just like it says down at the bottom of the video. You can $10 super chat or YouTube membership for one story request up to 10,000 words. And between the stories, I will go ahead and go search that up, queue it up, and that can be our story for another story for the evening. But oh, J-Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I went through that right after BabsCon, and it was a bitch to deal with. That's part of the reason why I wasn't streaming all that much was, I was getting over that. Well, in the meantime, what do you say we jump right in with the first story of the night? Sound good? I hope it does, because that's what the fuck we're doing. Let me see here. The first story of the evening is Diplomatic Immunity by Assault Turtle. And we will get right into it here. So this is Just Another Day at the Office is the name of the chapter. It sounds interesting. We're going to see what it has in store for us. Here we go. Diplomatic Immunity by Assault Turtle. Celestia took another sip from her teacup. The blend was just right, delightfully mixing the strong, fruity scent with a much more delicate accent. It prepared by a pony who clearly knew her tastes. Which wasn't really a surprise, since said pony was appointed as a maid in this embassy by Celestia herself. One of the benefits of hoof-picking the staff serving the diplomats was that she never had to complain about the quality of food during her visits. The cup landed with a gentle ring on the plate, supporting it as the royal princess of the sun took a small butter biscuit in her magical grasp and started nibbling on it with a graceful reservation. She did not expect to be waiting for so long. While Anonymous was not exactly known for his diligence and time management before, the duty bestowed upon him by the crown had changed that, much to Celestia's surprise. He was taking his responsibilities somewhat seriously, even if his interpretation of them was rather unorthodox. To now be late by almost half an hour for a scheduled meeting with her, well, it was unusual. She managed to take a few more bites before a commotion in the hallway caused her ear to flick. There was some shouting, a distant clatter of armor, and the familiar ring of magic. While the large oaken door to the guest room was muffling most of the sound, she was able to tell that a familiar human voice was coming her way. She hastily picked up a napkin and began removing any rogue crumbs that might have stuck to her muzzle and chest fluff. As soon as she finished folding the piece of linen back where the etiquette demanded it to be, a loud creak sounded the arrival of the missing host. She turned around to greet him, preparing a soft and playful jab at his untimeliness. However, the words failed to leave her ajar mouth, as Anonymous's hair was on fire. "Princess Celestia!" he exclaimed, visibly winded by what she could only assume was his hasty trot here. "I wholeheartedly apologize for the delay. We were held back by the grain market by some unreasonable agitators. I hope the staff has sought to your comfort during my absence." Celestia couldn't help but gawk at the human as he casually closed the distance down with his long strides, unbuttoned his immaculately elegant suit, and sat down in the velvet sofa neighboring hers. Only after a few seconds of silence did she regain her composure, realizing that she was asked a question and it was rude to just stare. "Well, I certainly didn't find myself neglected," she responded with a calm voice, trained over the millennia of serving public function. "Your ponies did what was in their power to assure my comfort." "That's a relief," said the human, still not acknowledging the odd purple flames dancing on his head. "I have already put them in an uncomfortable situation with my absence. It would be a shame to see them sent to the moon over my shortcomings." Celestia acknowledged the joke with a soft diplomatic titter. "Now, don't be so quick. I think there might be some ponies who undertake that journey yet." She paused long enough for Anonymous to shoot her a quizzical look. "I'm not entirely sure my ponies were so kind towards you in return." The human's brows furrowed, before he followed the amused princess's look to the top of his head. Jesus Christ. Someone revving their engine in the background. Sorry. "Oh!" he exclaimed. "Oh, crap, that's still going?" He quickly got up, looking for something to put out the fire with. Celestia sighed before grasping the unnatural purple blaze with her magic. She felt the flames push against her aura, violently trying to be set free. But she repeated the motions that she learned so many years ago, bringing the fire under control and snuffing it out. "You've been attacked again?" she questioned with honest disbelief in her voice. "Thank you, Princess," Anonymous said before sitting down again. "And yes, sadly. This time the bastards used some odd alchemical concoction. It sprayed over me, catching everything on fire. Even my guards' metal helmets were set ablaze too. But thankfully nobody was really hurt." The princess's regal muzzle contracted in a very unregal scrunch, just as a maid's pony entered the room quietly from a smaller side door. "Crystal fire," she simply stated, watching as the elegant mare jumped a bit before placing a new porcelain teapot in front of the human ambassador. "It's an extremely vile substance, capable of setting fire to a cobble road or a dragon scale. So dark and twisted, it was rarely used even in war times." She shot the nervously retreating servant a stern glance before continuing. "I outlawed it centuries ago. All stockpiles were destroyed. Some pony was really desperate to cause you harm." Anonymous exhaled solemnly before pouring himself a cup of fresh tea. "I'm afraid we both already knew that, Princess," he said, raising the drink to his mouth. "I'm a persona non grata, and no amount of arguing will change that anytime soon." Celestia watched the human take a sip as she considered her next question carefully. This was an issue she was almost tired to keep bringing up, especially since every time the answer was the same. Still, it was the reasonable thing to do. She only needed to convince a certain human with a very scrunchy face to see it too, so she cleared her throat before asking, "You know what would change it though, would you? Don't you?" She watched the human shake his head vigorously, not entirely sure if it was the taste of her question that caused it. "Damn, that's sour," he muttered to himself, eyeing his cup suspiciously. "I thought I gave them a piece of my mind on lemons last time." Despite that, he took another sip before addressing the princess. "I'm sorry, but the answer is still no." Celestia deflated further, giving him a resigned sigh as she continued to absent-mindedly observe her stubborn ambassador's face twist and scrunch, seemingly not dealing with the taste of his tea very well. Finally, he managed to overcome the sensation and elaborate further. "It remains an important element of our culture, and I simply will not accept threats of violence as an argument against it. I don't see anyone protesting the use of Yakistani silver bits or Griffin's denarii, making the notion even more outlandish in my view. I would be the last to condone any harm done to my ponies or visitors, and I will continue to seek out and punish those that do so. But the arguments that prompted them to these misguided actions are still valid. Neither silver bits nor denarii are in the same category, as they are a physical form of currency. But a form of currency nonetheless." Anonymous shrugged after setting his half-full cup on the platter. "And getting stuck on semantics is not a good way of moving forward. Besides, I would argue that head pats, belly rubs, and ear scritches are all rather physical, so I still don't see the argument." This time, it was Celestia who shook her head. Ever since she had to enact the edict legalizing the 3 forms of human currency as a valid exchange for equestrian bits, her life flipped upside down. The endless letters, audiences, councils, and streams of panicked economists trying to sway her mind were enough. But to top it off, some ponies had to take matters into their own hooves, trying to remove the only human in Equestria in hope of voiding the new law. Dealing with homegrown assassins was not a nice addition to a brewing economic crisis. "I believe most of the issues both you and your advisors make clear to me will be taken care of once the counterfeit edict is finalized," the human ambassador stated matter-of-factly. I hardly had any troubles trying to pay in our way. I'd even go as far as to say most of the shopkeeper mayors were happy to see me again. So really, the only problem is the rampant gray area of hoofing gangs that needs to be delegalized as soon as possible. Illegal belly rubs are a serious health hazard and only serve to damage the public opinion on the genuine currency. After all, some things can't be replaced," he said, tapping his fingers together in an exaggerated manner. The princess wasn't going to disagree here. The whole hysteria was blown out of proportion, and the new human currency was very valuable to her, especially the belly rubs. But by now, she was so tired that she wouldn't mind just shoving the whole issue under the rug. There are only so many murder attempts one can deal with before going insane. And speaking of which, well, I hope the tea set can be replaced. Some pony served you a kettle of very strong acid, Celestia stated, pointing her regal hoof towards the melting cup next to Anonymous. "Son of a..." the human muttered, involuntarily pushing himself away from the now sizzling mess. "That would explain the awful taste then. Well, I'm glad I don't have to have a stern word with the cook I assigned you. I haven't sent any pony to the moon of this century yet, but if someone was to deliberately ruin the taste of my guest's tea out of spite, I'd make an exception." Anonymous chuckled. The simple joke reaching its intended goal of making the atmosphere a little less tense. Did the stream end for... Oh, okay. You're back. Okay. Yeah, I was just... a little less tense. If the Alicorn's experience was anything to go by, stressing over details was the last thing to do after surviving an attempt on one's life. And this time I even know who the culprit is. "Do tell," Celestia inquired, nestling herself better into her cushiony sofa. She's called Silver Platter, the newest maid to work here. She was the one to bring the serving here. I see. The princess nodded solemnly. She displayed an unusual enthusiasm when volunteering for ambassadorial duties. It was a bit suspicious, but she passed the background checks, so I approved her. Oh well. The human shrugged, ignoring the quickly blackening, bubbling mass that was once his teacup. No harm, no foul. I'll have her arrested and escorted to the castle as per usual. Hey, Grumpy! He shouted out to the main door. Celestia adorned her usual regal smile as Lieutenant Stalwart Spear, one of her most trusted and experienced officers, hero of 2 wars and recipient of numerous orders, entered the room. Your Highness, my lord. He saluted each of them with the utmost respect and stood at attention, awaiting further orders. Send a few guards into the kitchens and apprehend the new servant, Silver Platter. She tried to poison me and is to be escorted to the castle and taken into custody by the garrison. And do check the living quarters as well, Celestia chimed in. She could be trying to escape or hide. Of course, Your Grace, my lord. She will not leave this place without all 4 hooves chained together. The gray-maned stallion shot his armored hoof to his helmet and spun in place with grace unbecoming of someone wearing this much steel on him, before closing the door and shouting rapid orders. Well, Celestia exhaled before lifting one of the remaining biscuits into her magical aura. It looks like I should send you a new maid. The human smirked before getting up. I know those highly trained diplomatic staff ponies can be expensive to replace, but I know how to reimburse you. Lord Anonymous, this is a bribery, the Alicorn stated sternly, but offered no physical or magical resistance to her ambassador sitting close to her. No, I wouldn't call it like that, he said innocently, before reaching to the velvety soft fur behind the princess's ears. It's just me trying to repay some of the staff training costs. Celestia didn't argue further, and simply let the magical fingers take her into the mythical realm full of tingles. Being a ruler was a very demanding job, but sometimes it had its benefits. The end. I hope all of you enjoyed that one. A nice little warm up before we, get into the swing of things. Cute little something. Oh, all right. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. We'll do this one next. All right. Well, I have a cute one here. This one is a reverse gender roles Equestria story. So, something like Daring Douche, that sort of thing. But it's a little something by a favorite author of mine personally. It's the same author that wrote, what was it? Was it Socks? I think it was Socks. Yeah. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, it was Socks. That's the other one. I need to upload, not to YouTube, but I need to upload to Patreon the video for Socks, because that one also got taken down. I'm not going to upload it because it's got Wubcake as voicing Adagio, and I'm not going to support that sort of thing, but, Anyway. Clop, 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 get pregnant. God. All right. So, our next story for tonight is a little something called Thinking Inside the Box by Ahum. And it's going to be second person. Here we are. So, I'm just going to get right into it here. You sit in your rocking chair, nursing a glass of whiskey. You have a good view of the street up from your porch and of the cardboard box you left by the sidewalk. You check your preparations one last time. Alcohol? Check. Bucket of popcorn? Check ×2 combo. Box with best pony written on it in a public area? Checkmate, atheists. You settle in to watch the show. The first victim is pale complexion, pulling an empty cart now that her deliveries are done. I'm also going to link this story for you guys to read it alongside me if you would so choose. Now that her deliveries are done. The milkmare nods to you and you respond in kind. She keeps walking until she spies the box. Pale pauses, glancing at you. You shrug. She unhitches herself from the wagon and approaches the box cautiously. She puts a tentative hoof inside, looking around warily. When no objection makes itself known, she climbs inside and trots a small circle before laying down, resting her chin on the corner of the box. You smile at the sight, feeling only a little guilty about what will happen. You don't have to wait long. Applejack comes down the road, hauling the Sugar Cube Corner order of apples. She spots the box, pail, and the unattended wagon. She is visibly confused, moving closer. You know the exact moment the farm pony sees the writing on the box. Applejack stiffens, unhitching herself from her cart. As she approaches, Pale looks up from her ear, and her ears fold back. Still, she remains in the box. You raise your glass to her bravery. Applejack nods to the milkmare. Good morning, Pale. Pale gets to her hooves, tail swishing nervously. Good morning, Applejack. How's the family? Applejack chews a bit of the stalk of wheat in her mouth. Good, good. And how's the mister? He's doing well, working on a new cheese flavor. The two mares stand in silence for some time, eyeing each other. Finally, Applejack tilts her head. You really think it's for you? Pale juts her chest out, her modest tuft prominently on display. I certainly fit inside. The orange mare rolls her eyes. With room to spare? No need to be stubborn. It's plain as day who belongs in there. Pale snorts. That's rich, coming from you. Why don't you go overwork yourself until your friends save you from yourself again? You rock back, shaking your head in admiration. Applejack scowls. That was only one time, and it don't have to no bearing on right now. You grab a handful of popcorn and start munching as a challenger approaches. Chira Lee crosses the street, her eyebrows raised. Why are you two arguing like school fillies? It's just a bop. Then she sees the writing. Applejack nods to her. Morning, Miss Chira Lee. Why don't you see if you can talk some sense into Pale here? The teacher sighs. Both of you are being ridiculous. What could be more important than guiding and shaping the ponies of tomorrow? Applejack might have a point, being a supporting member of the team of national heroes, but supporting? Chira Lee eyes her. Oh, did I miss the part where you became an alicorn princess? Applejack scrunches hard, the wheat stalk hopelessly mangled by her contorted muzzle. The teacher turns back to Pale. Oh, shit. But as for you, considering how many nipples you fondle every day, it's more surprising that you aren't a huge dyke. Holy shit. I forgot about... I haven't read this story in such a long time. Holy shit. Pale's face is red with anger. Me? A dyke? I have a husband, unlike Miss Supporting National Hero and Miss Herdbait Schoolteacher. Chira Lee scrunches, tail lashing in anger. I would have a cult friend if some pony didn't clam jam me at every opportunity. A crowd is beginning to gather around the commotion. You are having the time of your life. Who needs daytime soap operas when you can have Jerry Springer on your front lawn? Applejack turns on Chira Lee. I ain't leaving some sleazy school teacher to take advantage of my brother's demure and docile nature. Rarity shoves her way through the crowd like a fabulous melodramatic shark that has scented scandal in the water. Darlings, this is hardly the sort of thing to be airing out in public, let alone in front of a delicate stallion like Anonymous. Applejack takes a deep breath, then spits out her wheat stalk. You're right, Rarity. Begging your pardon, Anon. You wave dismissively. It's fine. Rarity spares a smile at you before turning back to Applejack. Now, to the matter at hand. Surely the best pony, as it were, must be exceptional. And while we are both elements of harmony, I'm afraid my other accomplishments far outstrip your own. Applejack frowns. What are you talking about, Rarity? The fashionista tosses her mane. Well, it's quite simple. You inherited a farm and tend it well. Meanwhile, I built a business from the ground up and have expanded into Canterlot itself. There is simply no comparison. Applejack grits her teeth. Are you saying you work harder than me? Rarity raises her eyebrows. Perhaps not harder, but Certainly more successfully. Applejack winds up for some sort of response, but a deep voice yells above the murmur of the crowd. Pale complexion, you were supposed to be home an hour ago. The ponies part as Beau Vine strides up to his wife. Pale smiles sheepishly. Hello, my dearest, Beau snorts. What's all this nonsense? He looks down at the box, sighs, and fixes Pale with a dry look. Really? Pale shrugs helplessly. It's just, you know. Beau shakes his head. You don't need a box to tell you that. You will always be the best pony to me. You join in the collective daw. Pale steps out of the box and nuzzles her husband. Sorry for making you wait. Let's go home, my love. You watch her hitch herself to her wagon and head out. It's a bittersweet feeling, watching the couple trot out of sight. Perhaps you should settle down, find a mare, and make a real connection. You ponder such things, idly wondering what that whistling sound is. It's getting louder. Then the sky floods with a rainbow of colors as some pony breaks the heterosexual barrier. God. Rainbow Dash slams into the box, making the whole thing bounce and skid across your lawn. You stare in shock as she sits up, both she and the box miraculously unharmed. Mine! The dam breaks and the air is filled with angry voices. The crowd devolves into an all-out brawl, as each pony tries to forcibly prove their ascendancy. Pinky noisily slurps from a glass of mint julep. You look to find the mare in her own rocking chair beside yours, a trough of popcorn before her, a confetti shotgun across her lap. This is no loon. This is a fully operational giggle station. Hi, Nani. How's your lawn? You blink. My lawn? You look out at the brawling mass of ponies. Their hooves are tearing divots into your carefully manicured grass. My lawn! You march towards the rioting ponies. Hey! Stop fighting! Can't you discuss this like unreasonable ponies? Bon Bon tumbles out of the melee and glares at you. Fuck you! You're not a pony! You don't know what it's like! Then she dives back in, catching Spoiled Rich in a headlock and giving her a mean noogie. You put your hands on your hips and scowl at the problem before you. You think you can probably take on a few ponies at once, but you know Applejack is in there somewhere, and there's no way you can handle all that and her. That's why it's something of a relief when Princess Sparkle teleports above the crowd. Every pony calm down! I have detected an artifact of chaos magic and... Fuck you! You already have a castle! You don't need the box! The crowd murmurs in belligerent agreement. Twilight frowns. Why would I need a A hard candy hits her horn with uncanny accuracy. Ow, that really stings! Classic Bon Bon. Still, it's pretty clear that the pal honcho won't be able to do anything. If the other princesses tried to show up, it's probably sparked some sort of uprising. Excuse me. Maybe Zakora has some sort of calming potion? Every pony just take turns sitting in the box! If you want to, that is. Every pony just take turns sitting in the box! If you want to, that is. You're jolted out of your big think, and you stare at Fluttershy. When did she get here? The ponies look around sheepishly, muttering that it's a pretty good idea. Fluttershy trots over to you as the crowd forms an orderly line. Don't think I didn't recognize your handwriting on that box, mister. You lean back. Okay. She frowns. Is watching ponies fight really that fun? You know on an instinctual level the answer you're supposed to say. No. Close enough. The yellow Pegasus just sighs. I still don't understand why you and Discord don't get along. You really are a lot alike. You grimace. It's simple. He's a filthy casual, lol random Gary Stew with a huge ego, and he's dumb and smells bad. Fluttershy shakes her head in wonder. Word for word. Then she hits you with the glare. You're going to take responsibility for that box. You tilt your head. I'm going to marry it? The glare gets 20% more done with your whimsy. You are going to take care of the box, replace it when it gets damaged, and help ponies feel better. You blink. That actually sounds reasonable. You do feel a little guilty about how strongly the ponies responded to your prank. All right. I'll go do that. Thanks for saving my lawn. Fluttershy blinks, clearly expecting some more resistance. You're welcome. Silly Buttermellow, you know when to fold 'em. And when the local kind, gentle mare gets angry, that's a good indication that you should not be playing out this hand. You smile, wave, then walk towards the box. Applejack looks up at your approach. Morning, Anon. You sit down on the grass. Morning, Applejack. Sorry about indirectly provoking you into a fight. She scratches her cheek. Well, I reckon riding on the box ain't a crime, but I'll accept your apology anyhow. You smile. Cool. Yep. The two of you sit in silence for a bit. The box seems fine for all that it was in the middle of a brawl. You aren't really sure what else you should really be doing here. Applejack clears her throat. If you're set on making amends, would you mind saying I'm a good girl? You blink and she blushes. Adorable. You're a good girl, Applejack. She gets a wiggly smile. Thanks, Anana. You reach under her hat and pat her head. You work so hard and your apples are delicious. I'm proud of you. Her face turns bright red, and you know if you weren't petting her, she'd be hiding her face in embarrassment at all the praise. This is pretty fun. You spend the rest of Applejack's turn in the box, petting and praising her. She climbs out on shaking hooves, unable to meet your eyes. Roseluck hops in the box and looks at you eagerly. You chuckle, turning towards your next victim. The next few days are pretty hectic. There we are. Most of the town drops by at some point, not to mention a handful of visitors. After a tip from one of the weather ponies, you commission Applebloom to make a booth for the box. Basically, a raised platform with 3 walls and an overhanging roof. You modeled it after a bus stop, and it does a similarly good job of keeping the rain out. As the days go on, something odd starts happening. First, a stallion brings a pair of cushions, one for the box, one for you to sit on. Then, Bon Bon or her customers drop by and leave a few candies every once in a while. One morning you even find some candies arranged around the box and some matches nearby. You are a little leery of actually lighting them, considering it's a wooden booth and a cardboard box. But if it makes your visitors happy, you let them. Speaking of, 3 stallions are approaching. Time Turner and Mr. Cake fussing over a visibly distraught Caramel. They nudge him into the box, and Caramel's sobs turn into whimpers as he curls up on the cushion. You absently stroke his neck, looking at Time Turner inquisitively. He sighs. His mare friend left him for a stallion in Manhattan. You grimace, looking down at the sad pony. That's rough, buddy. Caramel just sniffles. The other stallions sit down on the sidewalk, watching over their friend sympathetically. You look round and find a hard candy. Here, have this. I think it's peaches and cream flavored. Caramel looks at you in despair. Her name was Peach Fuzz. Back to sobbing. Well, crap. Sorry. You've never been great at consoling people, and apparently you're worse at consoling ponies. What did Uncle Nemo always say? Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Caramel blinks. What? You frown, trying to remember the platitude. No, wait, I think it goes, if wishes were fishes, not a drop to drink. Caramel furrows his brow. I'm pretty sure that's 2 sayings put together. You growl in frustration. It's something like that. It's on the tip of my tongue. Caramel waits patiently while your brain percolates. There's always a bigger fish. Caramel giggles. I have no idea what you're trying to say, but thank you. You pat him on the withers. Well, at this point, I'm not sure either. Glad I could cheer you up a bit. Caramel smiles, wiping the tears from his face. Actually, could I have that candy after all? You raise your eyebrows. Sure. You hand it to him. He unwraps it and pops it into his mouth. Caramel bites down with a crunch. He seems obscurely pleased about it for some reason. Well, whatever floats his boat. Once he swallows, Caramel resolutely gets to his hooves. Thanks, guys. I'm feeling a lot better. Time Turner smiles. What are friends for? Mr. Cake nods. It's the least we could do. Why don't we drop by the corner and I'll give you a double chocolate cupcake? Caramel licks his lips. Hard to say no to that. Let's go. You too, Anon. You shake your head regretfully. Thanks, but I should really keep an eye on things over here, just in case some pony comes by. Caramel looks concerned. You sure? You scratch your chin. I mean, I probably could head out, but I'd hate for some pony to show up and have no one to talk to. Mr. Cake gives you a half smile and a shake of his head. That just leaves you alone with no one to talk to, and that isn't much better. You shrug. I'm used to it, and some pony always comes by sooner or later. The baker huffs. Suit yourself. I'll have Pinky drop by later with the cupcake, all right? You chuckle. That does sound nice. Thanks. The trio of stallions make their final round of goodbyes, and soon enough it's just you and the faint murmur of ponies in the distance. You take a moment to breathe in the quiet, then take out your knitting project. Getting the arm just right has been giving you trouble, so who knows when it will be done. But when it is, some lucky foal is going to grow up with Trogdor as one of their first stuffed animals, and that makes it worth all the effort. You look at the robes, then at Fluttershy. She smiles nervously while Discord pretzels and pouts behind her. You scratch your cheek. Thanks? Fluttershy looks away. I just thought, since it's a shrine and all, you don't have to if you don't want to wear it or keep doing this because I said so back then. Sorry. You pick up the clothes. I don't mind trying it on. It looks neat. And don't worry, I've been enjoying box duty. It's pretty fun. She sags in relief. Oh, good. I didn't want you to feel forced to do this all just because I yelled at you. And, can I see how you look in the Napanese shrine priest robes? If you don't mind? You shrug. Looks like it would just It looks like it would easily fit over the clothes you're wearing. Sure. You put on the baggy pants, then the poncho sort of thing, and then with the wide sleeves. It takes a few tugs to get it to look just right, but you think you've got it. You turn towards Fluttershy and spread your arms. What do you think? Oh, what do you think? Her eyes are wide, pupils dilated. A real Kanushi! You raise an eyebrow at Discord. He huffs. She wouldn't stop pestering me until I made it for her. Be grateful I didn't curse it or something. You nod. Thanks for that. So, weeb stuff, am I right? Flutterbutter is still in her own world. You're pretty sure she's still breathing. Discord rolls his eyes, then picks them up off... Discord rolls his eyes, then picks them up off the ground and pops them back in. You have no idea. At least it's not a beach episode. You chuckle. There is that. Fluttershy still hasn't moved. You should probably fix that. You strike a pose, pointing at her. In the name of the moon, I will punish you! That's how it went, right? Flutterbutter faints with a goofy smile on her face, nose faintly bleeding. Huh. Discord scowls. Yeah, we're done here. The two disappear in a puff of smoke. Well, that happened. You sit down on your usual cushion. You could take off the robes, but, too much work. About half an hour later, Lyra strolls by. She stops when she sees you. Hey, Anon! Her eyes go wide, face flushed. Kanushi Moe! Maybe you should take off the robes. Freaking weebs. You wake up, unusually cold for a July morning. When you opened the window last night, it was just to let a cool breeze in, not so that you could see your breath in the morning sunlight. You roll out of bed and close the window. Wonder what's up with the weather team? Some kind of event? You shrug, put on some slippers and a bathrobe, and set about your morning. You pull 6 blankets from the closet, put on several layers of clothing in your coat, and pour some vegetable soup into a thermos. It's a bit unwieldy carrying it all to the shrine, but it's worth it when you are all bundled up and warm on your cushion. You pass the morning hours in meditation, absently nodding at the occasional pony walking by. Then it starts hailing. Above the sound of hailstones hammering on the roof, you hear mad laughter. That's right! Flee before me! Soon you shall all be as chilly and unhuggable as I! Cold snap! You peer out You peer out into the storm to find a white Pegasus mare flapping in place above the deserted streets. You frown. Of all the times for the elements to be out on a diplomatic mission. Oh well. Might as well see what you can do. Hi, want to talk? Cold Snap must have heard you. She banks and lands in front of your shrine. A bull, eh? Feel free to use all your masculine wiles. Nothing can stop my wrath. You shrug and pat the cushion on the box. Have a seat. Cold Snap looks at the box, then at you. I can sit there? You smile. Of course. She blinks, then slowly steps inside, ruffling her wings. You wait for her to settle down before grabbing the extra blankets and wrapping them around her. Cold Snap tilts her head. What are you doing? You finish tucking her in and give the blankets a pat. No reason to be colder than you have to be. She scoffs. I'm always cold. Some blankets aren't going to change that. You pat her on the neck, and she is rather cold to the touch. Ah, I have just the thing. Just a sec. You grab the thermos and unscrew the cap. Here, drink this. Vegetable soup made it this morning. Cold Snap scowls. That won't fix me either. I've always been cold no matter what. You put the cap back on the thermos. Oh, that sounds rough. Something to do with Pegasus magic, I assume? She nods. Ever since I was a filly, no pony wanted to hug me. All the other fillies and colts would just run away from me. And now they're going to pay. The sound of hail on the shrine roof intensifies. You frown. Not even family? Cold Snap looks away. Dad was always working, so I didn't get to see him that much. You wait for her to continue, but she doesn't say anything else. The realization hits you like a wave. She had a single-parent father. It's pretty rare in Equestria. Most foals are born into herds. This poor mare. You scoot over and pull her into a hug. She squawks in surprise, but the blankets around her keep her from flailing that much. You pat her reassuringly. Shh, it's okay. Cold Snap slowly relaxes into your embrace, resting her head on your shoulder. Aren't you afraid I'm going to freeze you solid? You shake your head minutely. Nah, you're not a bad pony. You don't know that. You stroke her neck. Sure I do. You're sitting in the box, and the box never lies. Cold Snap starts breathing heavily. The sound of hail softens in the background. It's just a box. It doesn't know. You nuzzle her neck. Just because it doesn't know, that doesn't mean it's wrong. You may have made mistakes, and it can be hard to let go of your anger, but I believe that at your heart, you are a good pony. Maybe even the best pony. She sniffles. Really? You smile, not that she can see it. Really. There are things only you can do, ponies that only you can reach, and smiles only you can make. You are the best pony at being you, and that is a wonderful thing. Cold Snap snakes a forehoof out of her blankets and wipes her nose. You sound like a full show. You shrug. Wisdom is wisdom, wherever it comes from. Feeling better? She sighs. Yeah, I missed this. Could we do this again sometime? You ruffle her mane. Of course. Anytime you want to hug or talk, I'll be right here. The mare takes a deep breath and then pulls out of your embrace. Thank you for everything. You nod pleasantly. Glad I could help. It's what I'm here for. Cold Snap gives you a crooked smile. Reaching ponies only you can reach? You grin. Exactly. She rubs her face. Oh, we got another moist. Lightning Burn. I do actually have your story in the queue next. We'll do that one and then one that I've planned and then your Rainbow Dash story. That's what we'll do. Reaching ponies on you? Exactly. She rubs her face. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to have to sit in this box a while longer before I can believe all that. That's not a bad idea. Take as long as you like. Cold Snap nods and settles down to bask in the sun. You look at her fondly for a moment, then turn your gaze outward. You see the hailstones have completely melted away, summer having returned to Ponyville. That was a nice one. It doesn't take long to pick up the groceries that aren't covered by the box shrine offerings. Even so, you end up hearing quite a few ponies wishing you a happy birthday. It still kind of surprises you how many ponies you've gotten to know over the handful of months you've been in the box shrine attendant. Of course, when your job is to talk to any pony who drops by, you rack up a friendly acquaintances pretty quick. The thing that surprises you the most, however, is just how much you like this job you've stumbled into. The ponies are cute, and it's a good feeling when you help them smile. You shake your head in wonder and place the last of the groceries in the pantry. You drink a glass of water and set it by the sink. As you head outside again, you pause. That's one huge crowd at the shrine. You stroll over and spot Pinkie Pie out in front with a huge present. She grins. Happy birthday! The crowd echoes her and cheers. You can't help but smile. Thanks, everyone. Are we having the party here, then? Pinkie beams. Yuppers, but before that, we need you to open this very special present. You approach the box. It's about knee height and a yard long and wide. You wonder if it's a bigger cushion or something. You tear into the top wrapping paper easily, because there's nothing under it. The box is just empty. What? Pinkie grins, her tail wagging in anticipation. Keep going! You remove more of the paper and notice some writing on the inside of the box walls. You turn it around to read it. I'm glad I could confide in you. You have a real talent for calming ponies' troubled hearts. Mayor Mare. There are many more such messages written inside. You smile at the crowd. Oh, this is really sweet. Thank you, everyone. Honka keeps vibrating in impatience. Keep going! You raise your eyebrows. All right. You take off the last of the wrapping paper. The outside wall facing you is blank, but maybe. You rotate the box until you see it. Best human. You suspected from the moment you first opened the present, but it still makes you feel warm inside your chest. You look at Pinkie. Mind if I try it out? She is hyperventilating. Just do it! You laugh and turn towards the shrine. You grab your cushion in one hand and put the box in its place, then replace the cushion. You climb in, doing your best to ignore the expectant gazes of the crowd. As you settle down, you idly think that the walls would have to be higher if you wanted to really have the cat experience. You take in the view, the walls covered in thank you notes, the crowd of ponies beaming at you, the trees with their fall foliage, a few high cirrus clouds trailing across a blue sky. Despite all your flaws and mistakes, despite being from another world and culture, sitting in this box, you know you belong and make a difference here. You blink rapidly and wipe the tears from your eyes. I am best human, aren't I? The crowd cheers. A little foal waves his stuffed animal dragon. That's Roof Cottages! You have never been more proud of yourself in your entire life. The end. That's a cute one. I like that one. That's a good feel-good story. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. We'll just do a quick. I'll time it. We'll just do a quick 5-minute pee break, and we'll be right back with the next story on the list. This one's going to be a request from last stream. It's going to be a Glimmer in Her Eye by Amethyst Dawn. But we'll get into that here in just a bit. All right, and we are back. Hello, everyone. Let me just go ahead and see if I've got it all adjusted. All right, good deal. Okay, next up on our list of stories here is A Glimmer in Her Eye by Amethyst Dawn. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. Okay, so A Glimmer in Her Eye by Amethyst Dawn. This one is a request from Lightning Burn 324 from last stream. So let's get right into it. You let out a disappointed grunt as the stubborn sales pony sticks to his price, making you question the sign that reads, haggling aloud out front. This stallion was either new to the concept of haggling, or he knew it all too well. Based on his scruffy beard and overall appearance, you assume it's the latter. This guy acts like he'd charge 20 bits for a cherry. Groaning at your desperation, you fork over 7 bits, and he greedily collects them as he hands over the flowers. 5 roses in a purple vase. 3 pink, 1 purple, 1 light blue. The same colors as the most beautiful mare you have ever laid eyes on. It's been a couple of months since you moved to Ponyville, after hearing it referred to as the capital of friendship countless times back in Manhattan. Your only friends back home were either self-centered, manipulative jerks, or, even better, they were only acquaintances that acted polite, but you always knew that they thought of you as a bother. Not a brother, a bother. Shaking your head to stir yourself from the unpleasant memories of your past life, you instead tried to remember the days since you moved here. The first pony you saw, oddly enough, was the other latest resident, Starlight Glimmer. And you were frozen at the sight of her. That silken pink coat, that luxurious bicolor mane. And, of course, the first thing you noticed when you saw her, those beautiful, breathtaking, shining sapphires that could only be seen in her eyes. They were so deep, and they held such emotion. You knew yourself to be completely unworthy of such a goddess's presence, and you immediately ducked out of her way and into an alley. You thanked Celestia that she at least offered you a gracious smile, and a lovely welcome as she passed. Her voice was like a choir of angels to your dumbstruck ears. You were always shy around strangers, but in that small moment, you couldn't even bring yourself to move. Ever since then, your heart was for her. 8 weeks prior. Hey you, Anon! You chuckle to yourself as you turn around, soon greeted by a cheerful Rainbow Dash, holding her hoof out to you. You take her hoof in yours and shake it. You'd become friends with most of the main characters of Ponyville by now. Sunflower Raindrops, Derpy Hooves, Dr. Hooves, Lyra, Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy. Most of the ponies you thought were worth the effort of socializing with. At the moment, you were just hanging out in the town square until someone called for your aid. That's what you usually do on summer days like this. So, Rainbow, is this the pony you were talking about earlier? Your heart stops, and you feel your face grow slightly warm as that angelic... Oh, shit. So, Rainbow, is this the pony you were talking about earlier? Your heart stops, and you feel your face grow slightly warm as that angelic voice caresses your ears like a brook's melody. Holy shit. She's standing right behind me, isn't she, guys? What do you say? What do you do? What accent do you use? Why are you suddenly so nervous? Why is she so sexy? What the heck is your brain doing right now? Say something, damn it! You suddenly feel the need to go bang your head on something hard, use the bathroom, and throw up. Your nerves are all over the place, despite your miraculously calm exterior. All this apparently takes place in less than a second, as you see Rainbow Dash give you a cocky look. Yep, this is him all right, she states proudly. Half of you wants to strangle that little brat, and the other half wants to kiss her. It's at this point you realize you've lost your mind, and have descended into a reality where all you can see is pink hearts, hellfire, and nothing else. A single bead of sweat forms on your brow as Starlight walks around in front of you, and looks you right in the... Oh, for the love of Luna, why are her eyes Why were her eyes so shiny? Suddenly, the one pleasant temperature of this sunny summer day becomes increasingly uncomfortable. You'd give anything for a glass of lemonade right about now. Starlight extends her hoof with a cute smile and speaks in the prettiest tone you've ever heard yet. Hi, she says simply. Your heart is racing, your blood pressure is skyrocketing, and she's only said one word to you. From the outside, you look like you're just meeting another pony, but you're about to have an aneurysm if you don't say something soon. What's up? You say, taking her hoof with a gentle shake. You mentally slap yourself multiple times for that opener, and remind yourself of a perfectly useful well 30 feet to your right. Not much, she says softly. Rainbow here said you were a fun pony to hang out with, so I thought I'd come over and chat. Did she now? You ask quietly, turning your head to fix RD with a fierce look. But the twerp is nowhere to be found. Obviously, she knew how you'd react to this. Next time you see her, however, you're going to hug her in thanks and then proceed to strangle her for this. Yeah, Starlight says, noticing the Pegasus' sudden absence as well. So, what kinds of things do you like to do? You feel a lump form in your throat, but you quickly swallow it, and decide there's no going back now. Besides, to you, she looks just as shy as you are right now. But you might just be reading too deeply into that. Right? Present day. You and Starlight became practically inseparable since then. She'd even included you in her circle of best friends. Your relationship with her wasn't anywhere near mare friend status, but RD won't stop teasing you, saying, "It's only a matter of time, lover boy." That mare might be like a sister to you, but sometimes you just want to strangle her with a cake. Any road, at least she was the one who introduced you two, and you and Starlight had helped each other out of depression. But she made it clear that your very presence helps. Oh wait, oh shit, I skipped a line. Fuck. And you and Starlight had helped each other out of depression innumerable times. I'm sorry. There's two depressions that are like right next to each other. I think I just got fucked up there. All right. Clear that up. Okay. Helped each other out of depression innumerable times. You never really got to hear about what exactly about her past was causing her depression, but she made it clear that your very presence helps. You don't really mind supporting her for two reasons. One, she'd do the same for you, and she's always let you sit a little closer each time. You can't help but feel your heart race as you imagine giving these flowers to her. Eventually. Hopefully, they won't be dead by the time you swallow your nerves. You saunter through town, heading to your shack near the woods. Your road takes you past the palace, and you can't help but take a brief glance, hoping to catch the sight of the most beautiful creature in the world. Finding none, however, you sigh in slight defeat, and prance back down the road at a quickened pace. I'm just recognizing just now that this is Anon, but he's a pony. This isn't a human in Equestria, right? Nope, this is not human in Equestria. Interesting. Okay. I don't really read a lot of Anon pony stories, so you know that's an interesting little change of pace. All right. You sit there on your little couch later that day, with the open notebook laying perfectly on the table before you. Normally, you'd be writing lyrics or drawing pictures by this point. You're not amazing at what you do, but it helps pass the time and puts bits in your pocket. Especially when the over-generous Vinyl buys your songs. She may be a mute, but her actions speak volumes. It feels weird to have a fan. But today, you decide to do something a little different. You take the pencil in your teeth and start writing. That mare of Starlight, her eyes shine so bright, easily outglowing the stars every night. My heart is leaping, her memory I'm keeping, even if friendship is the only song we'll cite. Passion is burning, emotions are churning, hopeless I'm flightless without her by my side. Daylight surrounds me whenever she's around me. I don't care if it's creepy, for her I will die. Listen to my heartstrings, you'll hear that they all sing. A song of longing, yet strange satisfaction. Of all the ponies, she's the only one I ever see. Some ponies save me from the deadly attraction. I will stand by her side till the day that I die. If she's ever in need of me, through a storm I will fly. In the silence of the sleepless night, I wish that she was with me, but until that day comes, her very friendship is ecstasy. Sweet mare of starlight, eyes shining so bright, I wish you knew how I feel for you. Though my eyes are weeping, my heart's content, and sleeping and will continue to do so. No love needed from you. Just be a friend till the end, and I'll be satisfied. Though I'm in love with you, it won't break me. Darker things have tried. I will survive. You place the pencil to the side and give a grateful smile at your own work. Granted, no pony will ever see it, but it's nice to know that you can still vent your true feelings somehow. Now, if only you had the guts to give this to her. Groaning at your knack for ruining what used to be a pretty good mood, you get up from the couch and head to the door, deciding to walk through the Everfree once more. Timberwolves weren't up this season, so you had nothing to worry about. That evening, you take several deep breaths as you stroll through the enchanting wood, drinking in the sweet forest air into your lungs like a nectar to a bee. You feel like you've been walking for days, yet still feel oddly refreshed at the brisk wind, as the brisk wind kisses your cheeks, turning them a slight shade of pink. Oh, excuse me. The image of the smiling face of your crush haunts your mind, yet you don't fight it in the least as you head to your favorite place to relax, a little lake you affectionately called Summer Spring. This person is British. That's how... I can tell. I sniff it out. Or European. After remembering that you came up with that name, you re-examine your life, wondering where in the hell you lost your sense of poetics. Not long after questioning your sanity, you come across Summer Spring, and are about to step out of the foliage when you hear a foreign sound, almost like some pony crying? You freeze as you search around, and your heart instantly stops once you notice the mare sitting just beside the entrance. There, lying beside the natural hedge, with her face buried in her forearms, is the most stunning creation the gods have ever placed upon this earth. Starlight Glimmer herself. You can tell by the occasional sniffles and gasps that arise from her, and the rapid rising and falling of her form, that she's crying hard. You want to help, but how would your appearance here, at what she probably thought was her private place, not come off as totally creepy? She looked like she wanted some time to herself, but her actions screamed desperately for your aid. You can't just stand there like a creep and watch her cry now, can you? Hesitantly, you walk out as quietly as you can and lay down beside her. Boldly, you take a hoof and wrap it around her. She freezes at the contact, but only long enough to look up at you. Once she sees who it is that's come to her side, she dives into your hooves and lets you hold her tenderly as you allow her tears to stain your chest, and you stroke her mane out of reflex. It's the same thing your mother used to do whenever you had one of your attacks. And now, you're just showing the exact care and love to your best friend. But rather than focusing on making your move, you're too caught up in just being there for her. It's far too obvious to you that she needed a shoulder, or rather a chest, to cry on right now, and you're her only friend for miles. You let the racking sobs shudder her form, and you fight back the urge to start crying yourself. It hurts you to see her like this, and her friends better pray that they weren't the cause of it. Slowly yet reassuringly, her sobs die off, allowing you two to just share in the comfort of the other. You look down into her oceanic eyes, which were now tear-stained, puffy, and red. "Tell me," you whisper softly, caressing her mane once more. She looks away for a moment, clearly wondering if she should tell you. "I can't," she says, the tears even staining her voice. "You'll think I'm a monster." Tenderly, you brush a hair Tenderly, you brush a hair from her face and gently guide her head to look you in the eye. Angels can't be monsters, Starlight, you say poetically. Her eyes light up slightly, and her cheeks somehow gain a pinker shade, but she still remains silent. I won't try to force you to tell me, Starlight, you say in a soft but stern tone. But know this, whatever you've done, there is no way I'd ever think any less of you. After a moment of thought, her head droops and she sighs. You really want to know, huh? You nod. In case there's any way I can help, yes. She lays on her back on the grass and lays her forehooves on her stomach, nodding for you to lay beside her. You comply and she starts her story. Well, I guess it all starts from the beginning. You see, when I was a small foal back in my hometown, I didn't have many friends. In fact, there was only one. And, well... Time skip. And, well, that's when I became her student. Your jaw is on... your jaw is on the floor. Your jaw is on the ground. You can't believe what you just heard. Starlight, epitome of beauty and grace, was powerful enough to hold her own against an alicorn in a duel of pure magical strength and travel through time? Granted, she also used to be evil, but after the shit she's been through, losing her only childhood friend at such a young age, all because of natural occurrence in every foal's life, and then having her philosophies torn asunder so violently when she truly didn't know better. You can see why she did all that she did, despite what it all caused. Looking over to your silent stance. Looking over to your silent stance, she tears up and faces away from you. I'm sorry, she mutters weakly. You must think I'm a beast. No, I don't, Starlight. You're shocked by your own words, as for the moment, you thought they were from someone else. They just came so naturally that you didn't notice them until they were spoken. If anything, now I can only think more of you. She rolls over to face you on the grass, eyes still teary but now filled with shock, hope, and intrigue. An absolute decision forms in your mind. She needs what you're about to say. Starlight, you are the kindest, sweetest, prettiest, most faithful, hardworking, smartest mare I know. You blurt stupidly, feeling your face grow hot. You've always kept a chipper attitude, even when you were at your lowest, and now? You chuckled warmly as you brush your cheek with a hoof, making her cheeks turn a few shades deeper. After knowing all you went through, all you've done, all you've fought, how can I not think more of you? You've been dragged through the worst of the worst that fate could throw at you, and in the end, you fought off your own prejudice and hatred, and turned yourself around. Going from a pretty mare with a heart of stone to a beautiful mare with a heart of gold. What more could a pony ask from another? Both of your cheeks are as bright as the sunset by now, and you've only now noticed how close your faces have gotten. Both of you realize what is happening in time and turn away from each other, clearing your throats awkwardly. Thank you, she stammers, using her magic to twirl a small lock of her hair. Truth is truth, Glim. You squeak before clearing your throat. I'm just stating the facts. After spending the next few minutes avoiding eye contact and stargazing peacefully, you both decide it's time for you to head out to your homes. Wordlessly, you each stand up and give a meaningful nod to each other. Your heart is racing as she purposely makes prolonged eye contact, offering you the cutest smile you've ever seen. Making a small gamble, you scratch the back of your neck with a hoof. So, my place is right on the way to your palace. Want to stop by for a bit? I've got some decent board games. And just when you thought her eyes couldn't be any brighter. Sure, she blurts, nodding eagerly. Smiling eagerly at her acceptance, you extend your elbow in a gentle cult-like fashion. She giggles and takes your arm as you both walk to the exit. I'm so glad to have a friend like you, she sighs, placing her head on your shoulder. Any other day you would have winced, but you've come to accept this by now. And after what you've been able to do for her tonight, You'd take 1,000 more friend zones if you were able to ever, if you were ever able to help her like that again. That's all that mattered to you now. Besides, there's always tonight to try and tell her how you feel, right? All right, good shit. Good shit. Prolonged eye contact. A dose of prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. Gosh. That's a sweet little something something. I like that. Now, I've got a little I have a little something something here. You guys. Ooh, yes, okay. I have heard that My Little Pony is getting a live action movie. And I have I have memed it to fucking death. That Anon and Equestria, at long last, is going to be canon. It's going to be canon, guys. Trust me. Goodness. Oh, bro. That was a sweet little story. Thanks for requesting it, Lightning Bird. I enjoyed that one. That was a cute... I don't really read a lot of not human, not Anon stories. And even though, you know, that one was Anon, it wasn't like human and Equestria. So it's a little bit outside my wheelhouse, but, you know, it was a cute little story. I enjoyed that. Now, let's see here. Yes. Anon and Equestria. It is canon. It's gonna be canon. It's gonna be like they're gonna do it like the Sonic movie where it's gonna be the ponies go to the real world. It's gonna be the reverse. It's gonna be ponies on Earth, and it's gonna be a human, and his name is going to be Steve. Steve. I am Steve. It fucking better be G4 characters if they're planning on actually making any money off of it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just saying. G5 not profitable in the slightest. So yeah, it's not good. It's not good stuff. But what do you guys say we get into the next story of the night? We've got some fun stuff here. Let me just do a little something here. Let me just do a little something there. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where I am not making any judgments until I see the trailer, and even then, it's going to be whether I am tentatively interested or just abandoning it and keeping to my stories personally. But anyway, what do you say we get into the next story of the evening? Little something called Bedbug by Runic Treetops. It's gonna be good. You have a little bit of a bug problem. Hey, what do you want for dinner? We've got ramen and bagel bites. I hate you. Ramen it is. Chrysalis glares at you from the living room sofa. It has certainly been an interesting month, that's for sure. It was all over the papers. The heinous Queen Chrysalis escapes from stone imprisonment. As far as Canterlot was concerned, there was panic in the streets. One of the most reviled figures of equestrian history, who had been turned to stone and put on display in the Canterlot Castle garden alongside two of her former conspirators for her crimes, suddenly went missing. Being the changeling that she is, she's capable of shapeshifting into an identical copy of any creature she finds, and she was sure to use this power to bring Canterlot to its knees. Of course, that didn't end up happening. Without any backup, attempting to do so would be a one-way trip back to the Stone City for her. Instead, she fled from Canterlot entirely, disappearing to who knows where. Meanwhile, you were continuing to live your shockingly normal life in Ponyville. You've been in Equestria for a good few years now. A freak accident ended up landing you face first in a fountain in Ponyville. There were some misunderstandings and some panic, and, well, long story short, it was an ordeal. Luckily, there was a group of mayors in Ponyville that were willing to take you in and accept you as one of their own. Together, you went on a lot of adventures learning about the magic of friendship. But nowadays, there isn't much adventuring left for you to do. Equestria is in a state of peace. Your closest friend, Twilight Sparkle, is now the ruler of Equestria. You run a small store down from the street from your house, and you occasionally work as a substitute at the School of Friendship. All in all, despite the fact that you're an alien in this world, you've fallen into a somewhat predictable routine. Oh well, the peace is what all true warriors strive for, or whatever. Then one day, you came home to find your front door unlocked. That was weird. When you walked inside, you could have sworn you heard something shuffling about in the darkness before going quiet. Now convinced there was an intruder, you called out into the house, trying to let whoever was inside know that you meant no harm. Back in your old world, an intruder would be a big deal and a reason to be alarmed. In Ponyville, an intruder means that either Pinkie Pie is doing Pinkie Pie stuff, or someone is legitimately in desperate need. Who are you to turn a blind eye to that? A quick search around the house led to you entering your basement. Upon doing so, you were quickly pounced on from a blind spot and brought to the ground with a thud. Standing above you was Queen Chrysalis, the ex-ruler of the Changeling Kingdom. Her eyes darted back and forth as though she was panicking, and she promptly opened her jaw wide. You winced and closed your eyes, knowing exactly what she planned to do, but not knowing what it would be like to experience it. After a few seconds, you forced one eye open. You didn't feel anything at all. What you saw was an equally surprised Chrysalis, her mouth still open, and a strange pink essence floating off of you and into her mouth. Being the dark changeling that she is, Chrysalis feeds on love, and she is known for forcibly taking it from others. Yet, as far as you knew, the process was supposed to more or less slowly kill you, and that didn't seem to be happening. That didn't stop her from holding you to the ground and continuing her feeding, however. About a minute later, she's closed her mouth and looked down at you quizzically. For your part, you struggled a bit in her grasp. You broke free easier than you thought you would, though that was likely because she wasn't putting her all into holding you down anymore. You flexed your arms and took a deep breath. Yeah, you felt fine. If anything, you felt kind of nice, like you just got a massage or something. But that meant that the two of you were left sitting there in your basement, just kind of awkwardly staring at one another. So, why are you in my basement? Rather than respond, she tried to make a break for it. That said, you were in between her and the door, and with a quick movement, you slammed it shut. I'd ask if you were finally ready to accept friendship into your life, but I have a feeling that— Silence! I will destroy you! A green magical energy collected in her horn. She wound herself up for a moment before letting out a blast in your direction. You simply stood there with an unimpressed look on your face as the green magic overtook your body. She relented after a few seconds, revealing your completely unharmed visage still standing in front of the door in the process. She wasn't aware that you're naturally resistant to most forms of magic. Go figure. Look, I like to think I'm a pretty reasonable guy. We can still talk this out. I have nothing to say to a freak like you! No offense, but aren't you the one who was exiled by her own people? Do you really have much room to be talking trash about me? Shut up! Don't you dare try to compare yourself to me! Well, that sucks. What? That your death is imminent? No. I was just hoping we could solve this amicably. I always had hope for you, you know? I didn't really get a chance to say it last time since I was busy trying to not get mauled by Tyrek, but my point still stands. Do not speak that wretch's name around me. And of course you were hoping for an amicable solution. The alternative is your annihilation. Can you please stop shouting? It's just the two of us, in my basement. It's not that big of a deal. And besides, I meant that I was really hoping you would see the light. You know, become a good guy. Learn about friendship. This is, what, your fourth, maybe fifth time falling Failing to conquer Equestria? What do you even have left? You know nothing! I am more than capable of bringing Equestria to its knees all on my own! You sighed, doing your best to hide that cocky grin that was fighting for dominance on your face. I guess I'll just have to get Twilight then. Uh-huh! She's pretty much my closest friend, you know. I was really hoping we could talk this out, but if you insist on continuing down this path, I'll do what I must to protect those I care about. If looks could kill, you would have dropped dead right then and there. The cold rage visible in her eyes made it clear how she felt about your little ultimatum. You had her in the palm of your hand, and more than that, you had a plan. Was it a good plan? Probably not, but it was a plan all the same. Fine, let's talk. And so, here you are about a month later. You were, of course, only somewhat true to your word. You still told Twilight about Chrysalis, but not as a means of getting Chrysalis back into custody. Quite the opposite, actually. Instead, you informed Twilight that you and Chrysalis had struck a deal. She could live in your house with all of her expenses paid and feed on enough of your love to sustain herself. In return, she would stop, well, you know, being a villain or whatever. This plan led to a couple of strange complications. First, a surprising discovery was made concerning your alien body. On top of resisting most forms of magic, you can apparently produce a near infinite amount of love without growing tired. That explains why Chrysalis's little draining sesh didn't have much of an effect on you. Second, Chrysalis is really, really stubborn. If it isn't obvious, your plan hinges on the idea that Chrysalis will warm up to you and your friends over time, eventually learning that friendship really is magic in the process. What actually happened was the ex-queen essentially becoming a couch potato. She has yet to leave your house. Once. But hey, she does like you. She just doesn't like to show it. While you wait for your dinner to finish, you wander over to the living room once more and lean against a wall. Chrysalis is currently curled up on the corner of your sofa, looking extremely bored as she skims through one of your books, The Infinite and the Divine. You chuckle to yourself as you attempt to make conversation with the big bug. How did you end up in my basement of all places? She responds with an uninterested tone, not looking up from her book as she does so. Too many ponies out and about. Couldn't find a place to shapeshift without being seen. Your door was unlocked. Basements are cold and damp. Seemed perfect to me. Haha. And now you've got me making dinner for you. My dinner will be when I feed on your love later tonight. I do not need the same type of sustenance that you stupid humans and ponies do. Why do you keep making food for me? They say sharing a meal with someone is one of the best ways to improve your bond with them. Oh, and you want me to bond with you? Hmm? Yep. Rather than continue your sarcastic back and forth like you normally do, you give a completely straight answer. The notion catches her off guard, forcing her to finally look up from the book at you. You grin at her. I have to have love for you to be able to actually give it to you, right? Is having dinner with me so painful that you'd rather try to steal love from someone who doesn't want to share it? Well, that's... She closes her eyes and groans, the slightest of blushes making its way to her face. Do not act like you're some saint. You give me love to prevent me from doing terrible things to those ponies you care so much about. This is a deal, nothing more. I don't know, it seems like a win-win to me. I quite like being in love with you, I think. Her blush deepens much more as she tries to cover it with her book. You are not in love with me, you are sharing your love with me. Those are two very different things. I think you'll find I'm doing both at the same time. She chucks the book at your head with telekinesis. You may be resistant to magic, but having a book flung at you still hurts. Just go finish your stupid ramen. Whatever you say, Your Majesty. You add a cocky, sarcastic flair to the last part as you give a playful bow. She groans again and rolls her eyes before magically picking her book back up while you return to the kitchen. Luckily for you, the ramen is indeed done. Dinner begins about the same as always. You've already established that she has to eat at the dinner table with you, as your mother used to say, like a darn family for once, much to her chagrin. Plus, the two of you have already made this your new routine, and she no longer complains. You both eat your ramen in relative silence until, shockingly, she speaks up, never looking up from her food when she does. So, how was your day? You look at her with bewilderment. There's no way she actually said that, right? There's no way she actually asked that, right? Even if you know what her true feelings are, she never outright expresses those feelings, especially to you. From her, a question like that is unheard of. Are you feeling okay? She finally looks up from her ramen with a confused expression. What? I just wasn't expecting you to ask me that. She begins to blush slightly and starts getting defensive, to the surprise of no one. Silence! It is only natural for a queen to stay informed about the well-being of her subjects. Despite what you and those ponies may say about me, I am not a complete monster. I don't think you're a monster. And I guess I've been promoted to subject now? With a huff, she lifts a forkful of ramen to her mouth again before mumbling between her breath. Well, excuse me for trying. You look at her for a moment. You can't stop a warm smile from reaching your face. My day was nice. A few school kids came into the store today. I think they were bored or something, but it was fun to see them getting into their antics. It's a nice change of pace. Thank you for asking. How was your day? Chrysalis blinks as she attempts to act aloof, apparently straining herself to keep her attention on the ramen. Same as every other day. Made my new hive a bit more comfortable. Took a nap on the couch. Scared a few mares by staring at them menacingly through the window. The usual. Speaking of, when are you going to let me see this hive? Isn't it my basement? Not so long as we have our deal. Okay, then. You're going to choose to respect her privacy. It's easier to build respect that way. You suppose that it's technically possible she's hiding victims down there or something, but you'd like to think that you trust her enough to not entertain such ideas. Will you be going to bed soon? I wasn't really planning on it. Why? She finally looks you in the eyes, the blush on her cheeks barely visible. I was hoping to discuss that book with you. That is, you will debate the contents of that book with me. I think I'd like that. A few hours later, Maruchan and cup noodles. Yeah, exactly. A few hours later, you enter your bedroom, get comfortable, switch the light off, and climb into bed. As your head rests on your comfortable pillow and you feel your eyelids grow heavy, you know that your rest won't last for long. As if on cue, you hear your bedroom door gently creak open, followed by the quiet buzzing that could only be caused by Chrysalis's wings. She's extremely quiet, nearly silent, as she masterfully lands atop your bed and begins to feed on your love. Although you have your head turned away, you can't help but smile. This technically wasn't a part of the deal so much as a request from her. She insists that in order to properly savor her meals, she requires a decent amount of time to feed properly. And because she is too embarrassed to do so with her victim actually willing to look her in the eye and give it to her, she demanded, not requested, that she feed on you while you're asleep. You really didn't see the harm in doing so and thus agreed, but unbeknownst to her, the process never fails to wake you up. In a familiar sensation, you feel your body begin to relax as some of your love is consumed by the changeling. The process typically takes her close to 10 minutes, and in that time she has the tendency to begin relaxing herself. She will usually get gradually more comfortable, eventually laying herself down right beside you. You'll finally fall asleep, and she'll be back in the basement by the time you wake up in the morning. Of course, she only does all this assuming you're asleep in the first place and unaware that she is doing it. Today is no exception, and after some time you feel her bring her feeding session to an end. She lets out a contented sigh as she lies down against your back. Her head rests on the other pillow, and you can feel her breath on the back of your neck. It's a pleasant feeling. Despite how bony and strange her changeling body is, you've never dared to disturb her out of her fear of her not doing it again. Screw it. In one motion, you roll over, grab the sheet she's lying on top of, pull it out from under her, and throw it over her form. What? Before the sheet can settle over her body, you wrap your arms around her and pull her into a tight hug. In the process of doing this, you never once open your eyes or change your rate of breathing. If you play your cards right. What are you doing? When she speaks again, her voice is barely a whisper. There is no way you did that in your sleep. Ugh. To your surprise, you feel her front legs wrap around your torso. Her back legs tuck in between your own legs, and her tail wraps around your right calf. Finally, you feel her nuzzle her face into your neck, her horns sliding beneath your head in the process. You can tell her face is flushed by the heat coming off of it, and her breath on the top of your chest makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. You risk tightening your grip ever so slightly, and she lets out the tiniest of moans as you do so. This poor girl has been starved for affection for far too long, hasn't she? No pun intended. A few moments later, you hear a gentle snore start to come out of your bedbug, causing you to smile. Ah, bedbug, hey, they said the thing. Causing you to smile to yourself. You've never once tried to hide the fact that you love her, but the same cannot be said for her. However, it's at times like these that you're reminded of the fact that the feeling is very much mutual, even if she struggles to show it. It's going to be some time before you get her to completely open up to you. But for now, you're okay with this. The end. That's a cute little story. I hope all of you enjoyed that. All right. Now, let's see here. Oh, big stretch. Oh, fuck. Oh, jeez. Oh, there we are. All right. Let me just get a little bit of water. All right. All right. Hope y'all are enjoying the story so far. I know I am. I think, for right now, I think I may do two more stories. Two more stories, I think is good. So what we'll do is we'll do Lightning Burn's request next. This one is going to be little spicy. It's a little something called In Too Deep by Dellinger. While trying something new in the bedroom. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's like a hand puppet. Anyway, let's get right into it, shall we? All right. All the ponies in Ponyville Hospital waiting room could only look on in amusement, blush in embarrassment, hide their laughter, or cover their fool's eyes as the resident human walked in through the entrance. Sighing to himself, Anand slowly made his way up to the receptionist's desk. Could you maybe pick up the pace, big guy? He heard Rainbow Dash complain. Well, the last time I walked faster than this, you couldn't handle it, and I don't need this grip on me getting any tighter. I'd prefer if my J.O. hand didn't need to get amputated. Thank you very much. Anand groaned. His day was going so well, too. He got off work early. For once, Derpy didn't crash through his roof while delivering his mail. He found a neat hat. He found a neat hat, and he was going to have hot, sweaty, intense sex with his mare friend, who was now stuck on his arm while he was elbow deep in her cash. He didn't even know how he could get that far. None of these ponies were even half his size. His current working theory was that the ponies had magic portals at the end of their wombs that led to a world filled with foals. While it was a stupid theory, he needed something to keep himself entertained as he walked around with Rainbow Dash stuck on his arm, looking like the most adorable sock puppet ever. This was the last time he would let Rainbow convince him of something so stupid. Although, if he was being honest with himself, he knew that was a lie. The Pegasus always found a way to drag him into one of her schemes, that usually led to one of them getting sent to the hospital. He wouldn't be surprised if the doctors and nurses had started taking bets on which one of them would get sent their way next. Upon reaching the receptionist, the mare looked up with a smile before her jaw dropped at what was standing in front of her. Her eyes darted back and forth between them, and occasionally glanced down to where the two were connected. A huge blush formed on her face as she tried to talk. "Just get us Redheart," Rainbow muttered while trying to look somewhat composed. Despite that, everyone was looking at her while their cult friend was wearing her like a glove. Oh, the amount of Muppet jokes he would be making of this had happened to some... Oh, the amount of Muppet jokes he would be making if this had happened to someone else. Oh, God. The mayor behind the desk nodded and scrambled off to fetch the requested nurse. The two were left waiting in awkward silence. That is, until Rainbow just started to complain, of course. "Can you please stop moving your wrist? You're just making this worse," she stated while her blush deepened, trying to ignore the fact of Anon rolling his wrist around in her womb. She was at least 70% sure she'd need some kind of surgery or a special cast for vaginas after this was over. "If I don't move it, it's gonna cramp up," Anon retorted with an annoyed tone. "If you don't stop, I'm going to clamp up," Rainbow answered back with a bit of a snarl. Fighting off the growing temptation to flex his fingers, Anon stopped moving his wrist and sighed. "We need to start using better lube," he said as the mayor and her foal walked by. The mayor covered her child's eyes and ears while giving a glare to Anon. "Oh, don't look at me like that. This kid's gonna have to learn this stuff eventually," the mayor growled and hurried her child along. "Oh, don't even act like you're having more... Oh, don't even act like you're having a more shit day than us." "Anon, babe, you gotta calm down. You're scaring and scarring the children and some of the adults," Rainbow said gently while stroking Anon's head with a wing, which was the only limb she could move without causing her walls to scrape against Anon's now soaking wet arm that she had in a vice grip. "But other people need to know I'm in a bad mood so they won't bother me," Anon moaned comically while pouting. "You can bitch and moan after we get your fist out of my plot. Now can you please not draw any more attention to us than you already have?" "I could make you infertile now if I wanted to. I really could," Anon muttered as he gently kicked the receptionist's desk. As soon as he did, the receptionist Mara entered the room and trotted back to her desk. "Dash, I think I have the power to magically summon receptionist Oh wait, no shit, that's Anon. "Dash, I think I have the power to magically summon receptionist ponies if I kick their desks," Anon gasped out in a whisper. Rainbow chuckled slightly. "You're so weird," says the one who's currently trying to suck me up like some reversed Vor creature, Anon replied cheekily, both glad the mood has become slightly more pleasant. Oh, excuse me. That's my Indian food from earlier. Oh, all right. The receptionist ignored what she could about what was just said, and repressed the rest as she told the two that Nurse Redheart was ready to see them. "Let's hope she takes this seriously," both said to each other as Anon opened the door to the hallway, both ready to have the situation taken care of. Redheart gasped out barely audible words in between her uncontrollable laughter, rolling around on her office floor while clutching her sides. Anon and Rainbow just stared at her in both disappointment and growing hatred. "You done?" Anon asked, unimpressed. Redheart tried to forcibly compose herself, trying to suppress her seemingly endless laughter. When she had calmed down enough, she stood up straight and cleared her throat. Yeah, I think I'm okay." Both just shook their heads at the mayor. I'm so sorry. It's just, you look like an angry hoof puppet," she laughed while pounding her hoof on the desk. "I'm gonna shove her head up her ass," Rainbow muttered in anger. "Easy, girl, easy," Anon whispered while stroking his mare friend's mane, trying to calm her growing rage. "Hey, Redheart, you got a small black cloth or something? I want to see if covering her head like a hawk will calm her down," he joked, earning him a kick in the side. "Ow! Okay, serious time. You need to calm down and help us. If you don't, either Dash is going to kill you, or I'm going to lose my jerk-off hand. Probably both, given my track record with luck." Redheart had finally calmed herself down and moved towards the two to get a proper look at what she was dealing with. "Right, okay. Let me see," she said as she put on her glasses and moved around them. "Well, the easiest option is to amputate the arm and hope it slides out when going limp." "Nope! Anana yelled out in fear. You aren't taking writing away from me. We have had such a long and intimate history. Plus, it's my writing hand, so if it's gone, I'm pretty much fucked. Why not just learn to write with your other hand, then? Redheart asked as she reached for her saw. I'm too lazy. Also, this hand is like magic while preening my wings, scratching my ears or scratching certain other itches, if you catch my drift, Rainbow added with a wink. Rainbow Dash, your cult friend's arm is lodged so far up your vagina, I'm not sure if it's even physically possible. There's no need to be subtle about your sexual activity, Redheart stated as she made Anon sit down to allow her to examine more closely. Well, we could try sedating Rainbow, but her body going limp would most likely release the grip she has on you. Or... She trailed off with a light blush. Or what? The two asked with raised eyebrows. You could make Rainbow climax enough to leak enough natural lube to let you slip out of her. I already tried that. Just made the grip tighter. Rainbow sighed. Pretty sure my forearm is completely blue from lack of blood getting to it now. Anon whined as she started to lose feeling in his arm. This might take a while, Redheart groaned. One day later, Anon sat in his living room, looking unamused as he brushed his left hand over the stitches on his right arm just above his elbow. Rainbow sat next to him with a sheepish smile. So, sorry I kind of freaked out when they brought out the needles. Rainbow spoke with a nervous chuckle. Anon remained silent as he took a breath. But hey, at least they were able to reattach it good as new. Although it wouldn't have needed to be cut off if I hadn't thrown a fit of the sedative. Anon still remained silent. Rainbow thought for a moment before sighing. Apology blowjob? Apology deep throat, Anon corrected with a stern tone. Rainbow sighed and jumped off the couch and put her head between her cult friend's legs. So the lesson to be learned here, ladies, is that even if you accidentally cause your man's arm to be cut off, apology blowjobs make everything better. And for the love of Celestia, use lube. The end. Oh, shit. Oh, that's a fun one. That was a fun one. Ah, oh, right. Jesus. Oh, all right. Big stretch. Oh, all right. You know, I think I have enough energy for 2 more stories. So unless we get a bunch of super chat requests out of all of a sudden, I think we'll wrap it up here in about an hour. I'll grab a couple of stories that are like 3,000-ish words. So it'll be a decent amount of time, but yeah. So we'll go ahead, do a quick 5-minute pee break. I'll time it, and we will be right back with the last couple of stories. So see y'all in a bit. And we are back with a... Oh. She's not here yet, but she's going to be joining us for the next story. It's a one Breela's ET. She's going to be joining us for... Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. She's gonna drain the lizard, and then we'll be... She's going to go to the bathroom real quick, and she's going to be joining us here with the next story here. Let me see. Looks like there is another story that was... Oh! Go ahead, then. Add this to the... Yeah, we'll go ahead and add this to the story list for next time. Then, okay. Good deal. All right. Save that for next time. And do this one. Okay. I'm just having to stall while I wait for Bree to get back here. But I hope all of you have had a good time for the stream so far. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Oh, you are here? Yes. Yeah. Or a chair. Chair one. Here, let's see. I'm having some weird stuff happening with the live studio stuff. The chat is not updating for some reason, but yeah. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it so far. But let me see if I can... Oh, okay, sorry. There we are. And she has joined us. Hello. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, she's going to be joining us for this next story here. So, let me go ahead and get that up here for people to read along with. That is... A Slight Cookie Addiction by Linzer. Sweet Biscuit may or may not have a slight cookie addiction. She also may or may not break into Anon's house to steal his cookie jar. Again. Or maybe it's just because she misses him. Either way, they're happy to see each other again. Though that doesn't mean Anon won't lose a sweet or two in the process. So, let's get right into it. A Slight Cookie Addiction by Linzer. You hear something smash in the other room. You groan and put your newspaper down on your coffee table, right on cue. The following crash makes it pretty damn clear what's going on, especially the following few thumps. You take the opportunity to give a hearty stretch and take a deep breath. You're going to need it. You hear a yelp in the other room, along with the sound of a trap snapping in place. You can also hear an attempt at the application of magic, which goes nowhere quickly. You can also hear desperate, non-focused attempts to magically manipulate your magically inoculated cookie jar. Air raid alarm to warn you included. You sigh and take a brisk jog into your kitchen. Yep, it's Sweet Biscuit. You're as surprised as ever. This definitely wasn't the 118th and a half, long story, time this has happened or anything. Interestingly enough, she learned enough to try and swing towards your cookie jar on the counter instead of desperately going for magic every time.
I'm Tarzan!
You knock on the archway's frame and give her a disappointed look. She yelps and stops trying to swing towards your counter, mainly so she can desperately hold her tail in front of her and try to hide her face behind it. With a sigh, you move to your counter and relocate your cookie jar to the top of your cupboards before moving over to her. If the jar was any closer to the edge, she might have gotten to it. But alas, it was perfectly placed to be out of reach. You had to ask AJ for a lot of favors to teach you how to set up this trap, but it was pretty damn deficient. You have no clue how the mayor knows how every path a pony will take to steal a cookie jar, but you don't really want to know the answer either. It just works. Magic-resistant rope is a beautiful thing, the ultimate bane of unicorns. Oh right, she's upside down. You sigh as you get to her side. She looks mortified and is making every attempt to twist herself in the opposite direction. You counter that with a single hand on her side, forcing her, forever dooming her to face you. She's trying to curl up so she can hide under her tail, but she can't keep it for long before gravity reminded her of her precarious situation. You squat down and stare her right in the eyes. Care to explain why I need you to get my window repaired for the 40th time this year? She closes her eyes, and you can visibly see her start to get red.
No?
Do I need to call the ponies?
No.
Okay then. She tries to turn her head away, but you move it back. You leave your palm on her cheek just to make sure she doesn't start to overheat or anything. If it wasn't necessary, you would have preferred to have her hanging some way that was more comfortable. But AJ was the authority on the subject. It's broad daylight. Why didn't you go to Sugar Cube Corner? She starts to tear up.
It's closed.
Why?
Pinky's out solving a friendship problem, and the cakes are in Canterlot for the next few weeks.
Fair. You take a glance out your kitchen window.
Out your kitchen
Chichindo. The frame in the middle is lying on your floor, and the glass is just gone. Fuck, you might have to call AJ for that job. You're going to owe her enough favors to the point that she could realistically ask you to assassinate a princess or something. Why didn't you just knock?
I wasn't sure you were home.
So you broke in just in case? The gears start to turn in her head, and you can feel her temperature go up a few degrees. She doesn't answer you. You sigh and turn around, pressing an elbow under her belly before pushing backwards, getting her back into a natural position, though elevated, and giving you free rein over the ropes tied around her hind legs. As usual, you can't help but grumble over the fact that you're used to this. After her legs are freed, she tries to wiggle off your shoulder. You're too quick for her, though, and you rather easily tuck one arm over her tail. It's not a tall order to hook another arm around her back and to start to hold her like a child. She wiggles into the usual side-to-chest position she seems to feel is comfortable, letting you readjust your arm over her tail. And because she knows it's uncomfortable as all hell, she nudges her muzzle into your neck, poking the bottom of your head with her horn. One of these days, she's going to kill you by doing that. Probably raid your kitchen for hidden cookies, being honest. It'll happen at Christmas. That isn't even a question at this point. Okay, so why in God's name did you break into my house and steal my cookie jar again? She whines, trying to dodge any questioning, or to gather sympathy. Something like that. She did this every 10 tries or so. Answer the question, and you'll get a cookie. One of her ears perks up. You obviously got her attention. I baked double chocolate with cocoa beans last night. They're fucking delicious. If you behave, I might decide to heat it up, too. She's almost in the palm of your hands. Both ears are up, and the muscles in her... Sorry.
God damn.
That was a glottal something. Both ears are up, and the muscles in her back are tensing up. Did I mention that I made them much bigger than usual? I mean, there's a reason why the jar is covered in paper. Okay, the real reason is anti-magic runes, but that's a secret you'll bring to the grave. I can't just have any pony on the street coming in. I mean, man, let me tell ya, Pinky's been bothering me for the recipe for weeks. That's actually true. Not an attempt to bullshit the pony in your arms. You should be happy I'm offering. These are limited supply, a November exclusive. Her breathing gets a tad bit funny, and you can feel the conflict in her heart, though she's not quite there yet somehow. Okay. Let me make this easier. You can tell me a bullshit reason that I'll accept for now, and you get a cookie as is. And then later, if you're behaving, and fix my window with your magic for that matter, I'll heat you up another one. Whipped cream, too. 2 for 2 confessions. Deal? You give her a moment to think over it as you move through your kitchen. You can't help but let out a small laugh when she anticipates you taking the arm from her back to grab the jar and curls her hooves around your neck. Once you've gotten the jar, you pause for a moment. I'll heat the first one if you do the window now. No cream for the bullshit reason, though.
You promise?
I can't bullshit on Sundays. It's against my religion. She lets out a snort of laughter, giving you every indication that she can't keep herself moody for long.
Last time I was here, you ranted about throttling the princesses, who you referred to as goddesses, by the way, while rambling on about how religion is dumb.
Yeah, that sounds like me. But who knows, maybe I'm just dumb. She gives out a proper laugh,
Oh, hoi, 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 hoi!
pulling herself up to rest her muzzle against the side of your neck, thankfully not making your head a skewer in the process.
I mean, you are dumb, but you're not that dumb.
Ask Twilight if I'm dumb and if you'll ever pass her. She'd disagree. A wild horn jabs itself into the side of your head, and Sweet gives out a disgruntled snort.
Less self-depreciation, more cookies!
All right, cookies addict.
Hey, you're the one who keeps saying, see you next time, and you deal with me.
That's only because you never listened when I told you to stop breaking in.
Shut up and get me a cookie!
Fix my window first. With another snort and a burst of magic, your window literally teleports itself back together. To say you're surprised is putting it very lightly. Models weren't exactly well known for their high-level magics in Equestria. Holy shit, Twilight teach you that? She leans her head back to give you a cocky grin.
Actually, Fleur showed it to me.
Wait, Fleur?
Yep.
By all accounts, she practically begins to glow.
I got a job modeling in Canterlot. That's why I was gone for the week. Basically, every big name was there. And I mean, even if I wasn't the star of the show, I got to go on stage with tons of big stars.
That takes a moment to process in the old brain centers. Wait, you got a show job?
Mm-hmm.
She pulls herself back towards you, nuzzling into the nape of your neck.
They called in seamstresses, models, photographers, and even some big names like the princesses in from all over Equestria for a big show to celebrate the changes to celebrate the changing of seasons up in Canterlot.
Holy shit. Wait, that doesn't quite explain the Fleur thing, though.
Oh, right. Well, she actually...
She starts to heat up a bit.
When we were getting ready, she picked me out to stop scrolling. I can't read it. She picked me out to fill a spot on the stage for the opening. Afterwards, she flagged us down and said I did well. She invited me out to lunch the next day and showed me a few things.
She takes a noticeable pause and hesitates for a moment.
I may or may not have broken one teacup too many at a cafe while we were out, so, you know...
Why didn't I hear about this show? You can't help but wonder out loud, but finally making progress and turning on your oven.
I don't know. They sent out a newsletter about it, so why didn't you get...
Derp horse. Sweet pauses, then lets out a sigh as she uses a hoof to massage her temples.
It would have been nice for you to be there. I could have shown you around the city.
Yeah, it probably would have. Well, shit. You fidget a bit to grab a roll of foil and awkwardly use an elbow to tear off a piece big enough to support a cookie or two. The oven goes off just in time for you to ratchet a couple of cookies out of the jar, onto the foil, and then a baking sheet. Sweet Biscuit takes the opportunity to clamber off of you, but only after it would have been useful to have two hands. She sticks her tongue out at you and you reply in kind, along with a totally not childish bleh. She returns with an equally childish noise, which you throw back with an increased volume after you're done inserting the baked deliciousness into the cave of heatness. She gives it up before it goes anywhere and sits back to watch the glow of the oven. Man, do you love the cozy little cottages Ponyville offers. You do much the same after you close the door and set the timer. Nothing will beat classic heating. You're thankful on so many levels that microwaves aren't exactly close to being invented properly in Equestria, or serious applications for electricity in general. So... Wait.
Yeah, it's your line. It's your line.
Wait.
It's your line.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. So what, is this my punishment? Getting you a cookie or two?
No, we can discuss that later.
You just roll your eyes at that and plop yourself down on the tile floor next to her. Alrighty then. Anyways, BS reason number 1.
That's against my religion.
You lean over and flick her horn,
Ah!
which elicits a small hiss from her.
Oh, hiss. Ouchie babas.
Ouchie
Ooey
babas.
wooey. Owie wow wow. Ooh. Fine, I'm starving.
Her stomach growls in comical timing, affirming the bullshit. Alrighty then. Real reason? She gets up and gives herself a hearty stretch and circles your kitchen a few times. You can only throw her a few bemused glances as she smirks back at you. The smirk becomes all too foreboding as she takes your lap as her throne once she was done stretching herself out. You totally knew I was here, and you wouldn't have broken in otherwise.
Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows?
Let me guess. If you knew about the cookies I made before...
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm a sucker for cocoa beans, but you already knew that.
You sigh and shake your head slowly a couple of times. Her grin comes back and she's all too happy to lean back into you, stealing your precious body heat. Fucking ponies. She lets out a few giggles and starts to bounce in place. Man, what did you do to deserve knowing her? Some questions are better left unanswered, probably.
Hey, Anon.
She turns around to meet your gaze, smiling all the way. Yeah? She leans in to give you a kiss on the cheek.
Mwah! It's nice to see you.
With a little chuckle, you pull her in for a hug. It's nice to see you. It's nice to. It's nice to see you too, sweets.
Hey, sweet shakes. It's nice to see you.
Ayo, sweet cheeks.
Ayo,
nice
sweets. Anyway.
Hey, it's nice to see you too, sweets. Remember to drag me along next time. I've got nothing more interesting going on back home than indulging in baked goods and gossipy newspapers.
Gee, thanks, Toots.
Thanks, Toots. She giggles and nuzzles you proper.
Nah. If I leave you here, I have every excuse in the world to steal your sweets and steal your attention.
That brings out a good laugh from both of you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Inevitably, the oven's timer went off as it decreed the time to enjoy company over and the time for sweets to begin. Even if neither of you were in a hurry to get up, the promise of slightly melty double chocolate with cocoa beans was too much, and both of the sweets-addicted beings in the room were on their feet. Of course, you don't hesitate to throw the oven open and to extract the baked deliciousness within. And it's glorious. Years of baking in this mystical land, and they were perfectly reheated. You could practically smell the molten core underneath the perfectly charred sides of chocolate. It would have to cool for the moment, however. Otherwise, the cocoa beans might kamikaze their way out of the core, and that wouldn't do it all. Sweet Biscuit makes impatient sounds, but you send her the international signal of wait for 5 fucking seconds with your index finger. It actually takes about 30 seconds, but that doesn't matter after a tactically positioned paper towel and perfectly applied whipped cream is added to the mix. She'd better be happy you added that whipped cream and chicken out. Sweets does her best to steal them both away from you via magic, but you lay claim on one in the classic way, by sticking your tongue onto it. She huffs once, but only takes the unclaimed one away from your other hand.
What? I'm not getting them both for spilling the beans?
Dessert. Later. She throws you a glance before gesturing towards the clock with her horn, which reads about 4 p.m., which you return flatly. I've dealt with you more than enough times. You don't run into things when you drop into a room. I heard a few thumps. Oh, and when you went around by a kitchen a few times, I noticed these. You casually point towards a few suitcases that were haphazardly hidden in the corner of your kitchen by the window. You don't have a hotel room, otherwise you would have dropped them off. You're super paranoid about keeping your stuff in a safe place, and you'd never leave them outside just to see me. You'd have to stop at your hotel first just in case. So, in other terms, you were planning to crash for the night. Ergo, you can wait until dessert to claim your prize. She stares at you dumbfounded for a moment. Hey, I'm not dumb. You said so yourself. You take a bite out of your cookie and casually return to the cookie jar to the top of your cupboards.
Well, if I don't have to ease you into it.
If I said no, you'd steal the jar on the way out. She blushes at that, but does her best to hide it behind the bite of baked deliciousness. It only intensifies after she takes a moment to taste it.
Oh, by Celestia!
I said that even Pinky was after my recipe, didn't I? She scarfs down the rest in the least model-esque way. You can only laugh.
More!
Dessert. She knows she won't win the argument or ensuing fight, so she takes the only other option available to her. She huffs unhappily and extends her hooves for upsies.
Uppies.
Knowing her tricks all too well, you just stare at her and use the time to finish your own cookie. Every bite only makes her more huffy, and by the gods, it was adorable. You simply say, nice try, once you're done, but ultimately fulfill her request for human-based transport. After all, it just meant free snuggles. That doesn't mean she doesn't rest her head on your shoulder like a dog deprived of treats, but returning the gesture from earlier... Oh, Lord, get her a cigarette. Oh, jeez. But return the gesture from earlier with a kiss to the cheek is enough to leave her struggling to force a smile away. That was way too easy. How long are you staying in town anyway? Should I get the guest room settled? You decide to veer off topic as you bring her into your living room, sending the newspaper from earlier a passing glance as you settle down on your couch. As per usual, she doesn't react until you slip your shoes off and kick yourself over to lay on the couch. But of course, she then takes every opportunity to roll onto her back and stretch out in contentment.
No.
She replies ever so intelligently as she wiggles her head up next to yours. No what? You're not staying in town?
2 months.
And thus her ulterior motives came into light. So that was a useless no then?
No.
Then what was it then?
No.
You put great exaggeration in groaning and rolling your eyes before inching a hand towards her. Answer the question, or this can get real ugly real quick. She can see every scenario coming from a mile away, but she still tests your resolve.
No.
You respond in turn by starting to drum your fingers against her side. You can see her grin start to grow from the corner of your eye. You gonna tell me what that no is for then?
No.
Jesus Christ. Your fingers start the march of death for her chest, the one place no pony wasn't ticklish. Are you gonna say anything other than no? You don't offer her the chance to rebel and make to defile the chest floof. It's immediately effective, and she's wriggling in your arms. It doesn't take much more than a few seconds for her to start giggling. It doesn't take much for her to start giggling. and to cry out several half-hearted stops.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
Of course, that only necessitates an increase in magnitude and another hand. You rule this house. You get to decide who goes where.
No, stop!
Why would I do that? You're not even answering basic questions. She starts kicking her hooves uselessly in the air.
Fine, I'll tell you.
You promise?
Yes.
You immediately stop all assaults, leaving her wiggling in place for 5 seconds before she realized what happened. Probably because you were still leaving your hands there just in case. You certainly got a huff for that, but it was more than worth it. She quickly takes the opportunity to flip herself over onto your chest.
Fine. No guest rooms. That's it. Where all the no's go.
Where are you going to sleep then? You can't help but pursue it with a shit-eating grin. She lets out a massive groan and wiggles herself back into a position where she can hide herself under your chin. And, threaten to impale your poor head.
You know where.
The couch. A hoof hits your leg with enough force to bruise it. If you weren't used to that, you might have done more than a mouth ow to yourself.
With the pony I trust. Pony, huh? Right here.
Oh, wait, no. No, I think that's my line.
Well, then say
With
your
the
line.
one pony I trust.
Pony, huh? Celestial.
She hit a lot closer to a dangerous place that time. It obviously showed on your face, judging by her grin. Oh, wait. What the...
What?
What? Okay. With... okay. So, with the one pony I trust is her line.
Yeah, because
and then
I interrupt you by hitting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
She...
With the one pony I trust.
A pony, huh? Celeste... She hit a lot closer to a dangerous place that time. It obviously showed on your face, judging by her grin. Geez. Fine, sure. Steal my body heat, see if I can... Sweets chooses the exact moment to shut you up, using that single most effective way she'd learned throughout the years. A simple, sweet kiss. Something you returned, of course. Joke about the couch again, and that's where you're sleeping. Oh, wait, no. No, that's you. That's you.
Joke about the couch again, and that's where you're sleeping.
It's your turn to pout this time. Aw, you're no fun. She kisses you again.
Yep, that's me. A good old no fun plain biscuit.
If you make that kind of pun again, I'm locking you out.
Your window may or may not attest to that working.
I can try at least. She starts giggling again.
Oh!
Something you can't help but follow along with, and starts to climb off of you.
I'll be back in a moment. Just gotta go throw my stuff in a different corner.
Mm-hmm. You get up and move to follow her. You're not an idiot. You know where she's going.
You can wait here, Get comfortable.
Like you'll get comfortable with the cookie jar. She's pulled off all the stops and starts a mad dash towards your fucking kitchen. Hey, get back here! You pursue.
No!
If I get in there and you've just taken a bite out of every cookie and put them back again, we're going to have some problems!
I can't help it! I've got a slight cookie addiction!
Slight my ass!
Ah!
The end. That's cute. That's a sweet little story. All right.
Did you like my biscuits?
Thank you. Thank
My
you for
sweet
lending us your
biscuits.
sweet biscuits.
My sweet biscuits.
Thank you for lending us your sweet biscuits.
You're welcome for your sweet biscuits.
Do I call you my sweet biscuit now, or do I keep calling you my muffin?
No, you can keep calling me Muffin.
Okay.
Muffin, muffin, muffin.
I love
I'm a
you.
muffin.
I love you too.
Thank you for lending your voice to this. It was very fun.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the internet. Take a look around.
Rest of song.
Yeah, rest of song. I can't remember the lyrics to that. Anyway.
Anyway, it was lovely to be able to join everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed my shenanigans.
It was
I hope
fun.
to soon shenan again.
Yeah. If you guys haven't checked it out already, she does have a, what's it called? An ASMR channel that I will link in the chat for you guys. You can listen to her new stuff that's been coming out recently. She's been doing a lot of ASMR stuff.
Yandere audio role plays.
Audio role plays and shit.
If you like crazy girlfriends, you might like that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. She does really, really good stuff.
It's all fully sound designed too, just
Yeah.
so you know. It's not just me yapping.
Yeah.
Although me yapping isn't that bad to listen to.
Yeah,
either.
it's not that bad at all. All right. And I think with that, we'll do one more story, and then we will finish up.
Did you need me to be room production?
No.
Okay.
I got this.
All right.
All right. So we're going to finish up with one last story tonight, and that'll be the stream. And we'll get back into the swing of things with this here. So, all right. Last story on the list is... let me just close the door real quick. All right. So, last story of the night is Birthday Present by Get Me Out of Here. Anon delivers a somewhat late, very unexpected birthday present to Rainbow Dash. All right. It's been a while, but everything is just as you remember it. An open field filled with brilliant green grass, the lake in the distance with a weeping willow nearby, and a cloudless, bright blue spring sky. It's a stark contrast to the dusty deserts, towering mesas, and bright city lights that have been the focus of your recent travels. But it's still home, and the familiarity of your surroundings is comforting. You set your luggage on the grass and take in the scene. Yeah, it really is just as you remember it, including the fact that the sky truly isn't cloudless today, if one were to take notice of the suspicious-looking small ball of fluff floating low over the field. Looks like her traditional mid-afternoon nap time hasn't changed. Someone who didn't really know her well might call her lazy, and in a lot of cases that would be true, but you know that the real reason she can snooze her working hours away like this is because she's ridiculously good at her job. You bring your fingers to your mouth and whistle, causing a startled Pegasus pony to poke her head out from the little cloud. She grins as soon as your eyes meet, a single wing flap sending her into the air, and her rainbow-colored tail dispersing the cloud like it wasn't even there. "Hey, you're back!" she shouts, touching down and trotting up to meet you. "Yeah, I'm back," you echo, greeting your best bro with a smile of your own. "Just got off the train, actually." She quickly tilts her head skyward to check the position of the sun. "Dang, I didn't think it would be so soon." "Well, come on, Anon. Don't leave me hanging. Tell me what your vacation was like. Was Las Pegasus awesome or what?" You chuckle. "Yeah, it was surprisingly tame, but still fun. Though maybe that's because I was expecting something else based on my memories of its sister city back on Earth." She nods, somehow resisting the urge to voice a few questions about your remark. "I'll fill you in on my trip later," you tell her, taking a seat on the grass. "First, I want to hear about everything I missed while I was gone. How'd your birthday go? I bet the party was crazy as always, huh?" "You know it!" she exclaims, backflipping in the air like she usually does when she gets excited. "Pinky really turned it up a notch for this one. There was a piñata the size of a full-grown dragon, and when we cracked it open, there was so much candy everywhere that they had to shut down Main Street to clean it up. Oh man, I can only imagine. I wish I could have been there. It's cool, Anon. Every pony needs a vacation sometimes. You'll just have to let me come with you next time, right?" She follows up by playfully punching you in the shoulder. "I'll think about it. But hey, it's not like I forgot about you or anything." You reach into your overnight bag and rummage around, then pull a small gift-wrapped box out from amongst the unfolded mess of clothes inside. I know it's a little late, but here. Her eyes immediately light up. You got me something? I knew it! I don't care what any pony else says, Anon. You're the best giant monkey thing that fell out of the sky ever. You smile at the comment while you watch her lift the box with her four hooves and rattle it around. Her ears perked and tongue stuck out in concentration as she attempts to guess what's inside. For a moment, your mind wanders back to the day all those years ago when you were suddenly pulled into this strange, parallel world full of talking marshmallow equines. One minute you were walking down the street talking on the phone with a friend, and the next you were suddenly falling through the air from a ridiculous height, your woefully short life flashing before your eyes. Thankfully, this colorful, concentrated blue bundle of energy was nearby to save you from certain death and usher you into this strange new chapter of your life. And surprisingly, she's stuck by you since then. Loyal beyond reason, fun to be around beyond description. The sound of her tearing into the wrapping paper pulls you back into the present, and you peer over to get a look at as she begins opening the box. Admittedly, you're curious as to what's inside it yourself. As the night you bought her gift, you were kinda hammered from bar and casino hopping. Turns out Las Pegasus in the mild west, in general, has the real good stuff, and Ponyville's traditional hard cider just can't compare. She opens the lid, lifts out the item, and holds it in her hooves, and you get a good view as her excited smile fades away into an expression of awkward confusion. Slowly, she turns the object over in her hooves, examining it from all angles, then applies the slightest pressure, resulting in a high-pitched squeak that shatters the now uncomfortable silence that's settled across the field. You got me a chew toy for my birthday? Really? Her voice holds within it equal parts incredulity and anger, and she stares at you, her magenta eyes demanding an explanation. Oh God. You quickly try to piece together the events of that wild night in your mind, desperately trying to scrape together a chain of clues or logic that could result in any sort of plausible answer. Yeah, at the time you were thinking about her, she's a pony, she likes to roughhouse and play around a lot because she has near limitless energy. Ponies walk on 4 legs and are about the size of a large breed of dog, so why wouldn't she want a chew toy for her birthday? It makes perfect sense, right? Yeah, at the time, in the midst of your drunken gambler's high, it probably did. Unfortunately, sobriety has its drawbacks, such as the situations like these, where you have to suddenly explain the unexplainable. I figured you'd like it, you answer honestly. Given the circumstances, it was the best thing you could come up with. Her eyes narrow. Oh God. You thought I'd like it? Just what in the hay do you think ponies are? Do those tiny eyes of yours even work? Do I look like Winona to you or something? She tosses the toy at you, hard, which you somehow clumsily catch, then takes to the air and circles you like an angry vulture, her eyes narrowing even further if that's even possible. You avoid her gaze, instead directing your attention to the object in your hands. Yeah, it's a chew toy, all right. Made in the shape of a cute little porcupine. It's crafted out of a soft but resilient material, and based on what you heard before, there's a squeaker hidden somewhere inside. You're 100% certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that a dog would love this thing. The creature that just landed in front of you definitely isn't a dog, though. Nope. She's a little horse with wings who can talk, is definitely really offended by this, and whose scowl demands that you give her a better explanation right now. Look, Dash, I know this was a dumb idea, and I understand why you're angry. Hey, I know. How about I just get rid of this thing, and we pretend like this never happened? Yeah, let's go with that. Without any further hesitation, you casually toss the toy into the distance. Rainbow turns and watches with rapt attention as it sails through the air and lands near the edge of Ponyville Lake, and you take the opportunity to attempt to put together a somewhat decent apology in your head. There. Problem solved, you say when she turns back, offering her a cautious smile. I'm sorry about this. There must have been alcohol involved when I went to go pick up a gift for you, so I wasn't thinking straight. I promise I'll... And then it happens in an instant. A rush of air, a squeak, and the feeling of something bouncing off your foot. You look down to find the cute chew toy rolling to a stop on the ground next to you. But that can't be right. You're certain you chucked that thing pretty far. You saw it. But when you turn to Dash to ask her about what just happened, the words suddenly die in your throat. The look she has on her face. It's like she's seen a ghost or something. Her jaw is slack and her eyes are wide yet unfocused. Rainbow? You reach over and snap your fingers in front of her face, which seems to startle her out of her trance. Huh? What? You kind of spaced out there. You okay? She offers you a weak grin that you don't quite buy. Yeah, never better. Her anger from before is also strangely absent. Yeah, something weird's going on here, but you don't even know how to begin to figure out what. This crazy horse world's magic constantly surprises you, such as the revelation that love can literally conquer all, or that spontaneous musical numbers tend to happen at the drop of a hat. Could there be some kind of strange magic at play here too? Is this some sort of divine intervention from those two big wavy-haired princess horses or something? You absentmindedly reach over and retrieve the chew toy as you ponder, and then something really odd happens. Rainbow's eyes quickly snap to attention, tracking its every move. Out of curiosity, you squeak the toy once, and to your surprise, every muscle in her body tenses at the sound. And then you toss the toy into the distance again. She doesn't turn her head to follow it like before. Instead, her eyes meet yours and she angrily stares at you as if she has something to say. You stare back, waiting for the tirade to start, but no words ever come. Instead, her mask of anger slowly slips away as beads of sweat begin to form on her brow. Soon she's trembling, using every ounce of her willpower she has to fight the urge that you now suspect is beginning to overtake her. Yeah, it's a valiant effort, but you can tell it'll be only a matter of time. Regardless, you decide to speed things up with a little push. You slowly lean forward, look her in the eyes, and whisper, "Go get it, Dashi." She bolts into the distance with incredible speed. Not a second later, you feel the toy bounce off your knee and land in your lap. Dash once again sits on her haunches in front of you, a mortified look on her face. What the? She stammers. To be honest, you'd normally be just as confused as she is about this bizarre turn of events, but something that happened before you left on your vacation has popped into the forefront of your mind, providing a much-needed piece of the puzzle. I have a theory, Anon, a studious purple pony once told you during one of your cultural studies sessions together. I believe, despite your claims to the contrary, that humans do have magic. Much like unicorns who express their magic through their horns, or earth ponies who express their magic through their hooves, I think that humans might express their magic through their hands. Of course, at the time, she was making you scratch her back with your fingers to gather data or something, so you figured she was just joking around with you. But in light of this startling turn of events, maybe she was serious. Maybe humans really do have magic in this world. And maybe one of the expressions of that magic is that a small object thrown by human hands will cause an irresistible compulsion in nearby ponies to retrieve said object. Obviously, you need to gather more data here. Twilight would never forgive you if you didn't, which is why you don't even try to resist the urge to reach over and pat Rainbow on the head, while simultaneously picking up the toy, causing her cheeks to turn a nice shade of crimson and her ears to fold back in anger as she scowls at you. At this point, there's no question that she understands what's going on too, and if you keep pushing your luck with this, she's probably going to beat you into paste. No, it's more than like she definitely will. Maybe you've even gone beyond the point of no return already. But the overwhelming desire to tease her just a little bit means that you couldn't help yourself, even if you wanted to. With an evil glimmer in your eyes, you toss the toy into the air and watch as her magenta irises move with it. The toy squeaks again as you catch it, causing another shudder to run down her body, and you can't help but chuckle at the sight. "You're fucking dead, monkey boy," she growls in response to your laughter, her anger building once again. Still smiling as you stand, you roll your shoulder to get ready for the pitch. Yeah, I know, but since I'm dead already, that means I have nothing to lose, right? You start the wind-up. Her body crouches low to the ground, tail swishing back and forth with excitement. And for the third time, the toy sails through the air, Pegasus in pursuit, a rainbow trail left in her wake. As soon as she returns the toy, you throw it again, but this time things are a little different. To put it bluntly, she can fly much faster than you could ever manage to throw the thing, meaning she can catch up and snatch it out of the air in no time at all. But on this attempt, instead of going straight for the toy like before, she performs 2 rapid corkscrews in the air before effortlessly catching it with her mouth and gliding back to you with a proud smirk on her muzzle. And it's at that point you understand it that if she's going to be forced to follow the compulsion to play this silly game of fetch, she's going to prove to you that she's the best at it. She's going to prove that she's the best that ever was, is, and ever will be. And she's going to drive that point home until you have no choice but to acknowledge her superiority. You suppose that's what they call the spirit of the champion, and her fiery resolve instantly rubs off on you. Instead of throwing the toy roughly parallel to the ground like you have been, you start to arc it high into the air, giving her ample opportunity to demonstrate an amazing array of aerial stunts. Soon you're cheering her on, the lone audience member of the air show taking place above an empty field by the lake. Yet even though it's just you there, you can tell she's giving it her all, pushing herself to the limit to perform unbelievable acrobatics that nearly take your breath away. At some point as the afternoon wears on, you feel your arms starting to give out. A quick glance over to her reveals that she's only starting to warm up. Yeah, this really is nothing to her. You fall on your back, panting and laughing at your own defeat, while the victor of the game touches down nearby, not even winded at all. Excuse me. You ready for some payback? She asks, that devilish but proud smirk still present. Yeah, bring it on, you answer without hesitation, your own smirk never wavering. After it's all over, the two of them lazily watch the sun set underneath the weeping willow by the lake. It goes without saying that she unleashed near-apocalyptic retribution on him when everything was said and done, and to be honest, he deserved it. Still, she couldn't help but giggle as she watched him squirm underneath her hoof, while she delivered noogie after noogie with extreme prejudice. In any case, he got the message. If he ever talks about what happened here to another soul, he might as well kiss his stupid monkey scalp goodbye. She snickers a bit at the thought, only to be slightly startled as he reaches over and playfully ruffles her colorful mane with one of his hands. Her heart beating slightly faster as his magic takes hold of her again for just a moment. I know it's a little late to say this, but happy birthday, Rainbow. He turns and smiles at her while she holds the dumb chew toy safely in her hooves. Thanks, Anon, she replies, wearing a slight smile that she can't quite hide. He gestures to the toy. Hey, you know I really will get rid of that thing if you get you a real birthday present if you want me to, right? She quickly shakes her head, pulling the gift closer with a mock scowl. Yeah, I don't think I trust you with this, monkey boy. It stays with me. Her tone relaxes along with her expression. But really, don't worry about it. We're cool, and I know you didn't mean it. Just give me a real present next time, alright? He chuckles. Yeah, you got it. The moon eventually starts to rise, and the two bid each other goodbye. She has to go home to feed her pet tortoise, and he needs to go home and unpack from his vacation so he can be ready for work tomorrow. Carefully taking the chew toy in her mouth, she effortlessly leaps into the air and sails through the night sky until her prized cloud mansion looms in the distance. Hey, Tank, I'm home, she declares as she trots through the door. Jesus fucking Christ, that tongue twister. There's no answer, but it's not like she was really expecting one from her pet anyway. She turns the lights on and then moves from the foyer into the living room and on her way to the kitchen. She passes the main garbage can as she moves through the house, noting that she really needs to empty the thing. She also passes the table full of the neat birthday presents her friends got her, resolving to crack open the latest Daring Do anthology from Twilight and chow down on the stash of candy from Pinky, when she kicks back on the couch later. But before she reaches the kitchen, she stops in front of a special shelf. She takes a moment to admire the stuff that's kept there. Her Junior Speedster's trophies, a photo from her foalhood of herself and her parents, a signed copy of the first Daring Do novel, and even her Element of Loyalty necklace. Carefully, she places the chew toy on the shelf of cherished things, then steps away to greet her pet, who just appeared from the hallway. "Hey, bud, you ready for some grub?" With one last glance back at the shelf and a satisfied smile, she glides into the kitchen to start on their dinner. The end. Aw, that's a sweet story. That's a sweet dash anon story. I love that shit. All right. Well, that is all of the stories that I have for tonight. There is one that was requested that would be part 2 of the Starlight Glimmer story. I will be reading that one for the next stream, so I'll keep that in the story requests chat of the server, and we will get to that one next time. But I hope all of you had fun. I know this was a little bit, spur of the moment, but, I wanted to celebrate being able to start streaming again proper. So, excuse me. I hope all of you enjoyed. I hope all of you had fun. I hope all of you tune in for future streams. I plan on doing more of these. Yeah, until next time, y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend and chill the fuck out.